did live the dream. And by sharing that, my first video, Lifestyles of the Fit and Famous, you'll see it. I'm driving the Rolls Royce up and down the hill. That was my mom's Rolls Royce that I bought from her. It was broken down in the garage, paid off my Corvette and gave it to her, took the broken Rolls Royce, had my friends who were mechanics fix the Rolls Royce. And there I was, 24, 25 years old, driving around, getting a Rolls Royce, top down, even back and forth from California to Vegas. I knew what that looked like to other people.
He might actually.
We're on.
Hey, so Shawn, what's going on?
Good, man. Just flew in.
We just had a crazy conversation. But
Someone said talk about everything we said.
Yeah.
I just flew in from Hawaii here for the Raider game. Figured I'd stop by.
Came straight from Hawaii?
Yes, sir. Shawn Ray Classic coming up November the 8th. Everybody's asking for you. When are you coming back out to Hawaii?
Really? Yeah.
Yes, November the 8th. We got
fans in Hawaii.
We got pro bikini.
Oh, you know what? I'm
pro
booked
men's
though the
physique.
8th this year. I'm in Kentucky for Mega Fit.
Oh, well.
You know what I
Kentucky
told Shawn
Hawaii.
a long
Why
time
not?
ago? Hawaii is the last place I have not been in North America.
What are we waiting for? We don't need Jay.
So-
Where's my invite?
Get out.
Listen, I'll
can't
go
afford
for
you.
I got
support.
I'm a
You should
cheap
just go to
fee.
support.
If I'm here,
We need to talk.
what date is
Someone
it?
just
It's November the 8th. It's on a
someone
Saturday.
just
No,
told me they were
I'm in a
competing
wedding in
that
South
show.
Africa.
Well, a lot of guys actually, because right after the Olympia, I mean, if you want to qualify early for 26 Olympia,
I
Hawaii's
mean,
the
Logan
place to go.
Franklin did it 2 years in a row.
Won it 2 years in a row, and you got Best Poser 2 years in a row. He's the only one that walked out of there with a bucket load of money.
How much you get for best
I
poser?
think we had a $15,000 prize money and $10,000 for the Best Poser award. So that's good.
Are you
Men's
just doing
classic
classic physique as a
This year,
division?
we're repeating what we did last year: men's physique and men's bikini. It just seems more popular.
Did you say
in that
men's
area.
bikini?
Men's. Oh, did I say men's bikini?
You did.
Women's bikini.
I'm not editing that shit.
Bikini and men's physique, but you know it's Hawaii, so most of those guys, that's kind of where they come from in that area.
It's big out there, right?
Big. I'm getting a lot of pushback now because we had women's wellness for 1 year and disappeared, and now they want that to come back. So we'll play it by ear.
How did that come about that you're situated in Hawaii with a major show like that?
Well, you know, I promoted my first competition was 2000, I think it was 5 or 6. It was the 202 division. David Henry won that out there at the New York Pro.
Okay.
I was with Viotech back then.
Remember, yeah.
And from there, I went into the Shawn Ray Classic in Colorado.
Colorado, yeah.
Pro
That's
Am.
the 8th one.
Yeah, 2006 was Phil. 2007 was
High green.
Ty Green. And then I wound up out in Baltimore, Maryland. I went out there to MC a show. Then they asked me if I would actually run the show, called it the Shawn Ray Classic. I partnered up with the guy. Very successful. They fired that guy the following year.
Because I had a show with him too.
Right. And then they asked me if I want to keep going. I'm like, well, I'm in California. I don't even know how to put the show together in Baltimore, but the system was in place. I was able to keep it together for 4 years. And I was in a territory where they were taking my posters down off the walls because another promoter wanted my August date in the summertime. So my numbers dropped. And on the third year, I was smart enough to go, you know what? They don't want me out here. And it was hot. And I didn't have any allies. I didn't have a home base. And I went out to Hawaii to MC a show. And I'd been there before, Dot and Mitz Kawashima.
Of course, yeah.
I mean, it was just, I remember guest posing there. And they were bringing in, Arnold was out there. Gunther was out there. Linda Murray, Sharon Bruneau, Anya Schreiner. They had the who's who back when I was coming up. And this guy ran the show into the ground. I think it was 4 partners. 3 of them died. So now they're down to the graphics guy. He was the guy that was running the show, but he didn't know how to run it. And I found out after I emceed the show that this guy hadn't paid Sergio Oliva Jr. his guest posing fee, was trickling out my fee. He wasn't paying me all at once. And then he was talking with Lee Thompson, the NSL guy, and trying to take the show to the NSL. I came back and told the NBC, and they're like, do you think you could run it? I said, I could run the show. Boom, came out of the blocks, biggest show in Hawaii for the last 8 years. So I'm good. I go out there and get my tan on, get my Mai Tais on, and we're bringing prize money and Olympia
So
qualification.
do you go back and forth a few times then?
I have to. So I'm hands-on. So I got to go out there. I circle the island. I'm dealing with the press. I'm dealing with everybody out there. So it is.
How is the
Shawn Ray
competition as far as the competitors there now? Is the gym culture still pretty strong? Because they used to have some really good gyms there.
They still do. But what's not really strong is men's bodybuilding. It's probably the weakest division. You got more guys doing classic physique and men's physique. These aren't big people, by the way. They never were really big. I believe some of the more notorious bodybuilders was, I think Ed Corney came from there. I think Ernie Santiago. I know
There
Mario
was,
Salin moved out there for a while.
Curtis Leffler.
Curtis Leffler was a big guy. I think he did the Nationals, but he didn't win his pro card. He never became pro. You had Anthony Clark. Both of those guys have passed on. Dotton Mitz, Kawashima were Arnold
Chris Faldo
Schwarzenegger.
was from there too.
Yeah, the Hawaiian Hurricane sponsored my show every year from the beginning. Flex Fitness out there, give him a shout out. Greg Yoshida at GY Fitness. So you have there's a lot of gyms, and they have Anytime Fitness, Iron Hawaiian, Rip Fitness. And the good thing about those gyms is they support what I do. Powerhouse Gym, IAEA, run by Mike Kawasaki and his wife, Lonnie. They do get behind supporting the shows, but I was just there for the Ray Ronquillo Aloha Muscle. And majority of the athletes, again, men's physique, classic physique, and women's bikini. So bodybuilding is kind of dying out over there.
But the other division, we'll talk about that a little bit today.
Yeah, we should.
So 60th birthday, tell me how it was.
Fit Club started right here at the Strip, off Hacienda and Decatur. The energy, the grit, the place that set the standard for Vegas fitness. Then came Northwest, near Summerlin, sharing the Fit Club gym culture and vibes across Las Vegas. And the crown jewel, Henderson, a cutting-edge space designed for bodybuilders, competitors, and anyone chasing their best self. Fit Club Las Vegas, now with 3 locations.
It's just another day, man. I mean, yeah, because like you said earlier, we used to think like those were the old guys. I was looking on Instagram, and I remember I saw something about like Happy Days and Good Times and all those little sitcoms, the parents that we thought were old people. Like, I've become that person. And they are actually younger than I am right now. But that time went like this. All I have to do is look at my 20-year-old daughter and go, what in the hell happened? When did she become
20,
a
right?
woman? Yeah. And I got a 43-year-old that's turning 44 this year, November the 5th. So, and my youngest is 17. So they remind me kind of the passage of time, not to mention looking at other people's kids. Look at Tyler Mannion. Remember, he used to run around the shows and JM is doting him around, and now he's like calling the shots and telling people where to go and where to stand. The passage of time is real, especially when you start looking at the people that are no longer with us. Peter McGough, and Bob Kennedy, and Bill Reynolds from back in the day, and Don Ross, Sean Perrine. I mean, we're missing a lot of components that kept the whole thing together. Even Ben and Joe Weider, right? Like they were always a fixture when it came around the Olympia. Mind you, my Olympia, it always was around my birthday. It was always in September.
It was on your birthday.
Yeah. So for 12 consecutive years, I was on that diet, like literally like tunnel vision from 22 to 35 years old. And every September, it was like I had to have this reunion with all these people that are now no longer with us. Not to mention, I watched careers come and go, and then those athletes go on to their second career. Seeing what you're doing, what Ronnie Coleman's doing, and Lila Prada and Gaspari and Lavroni. Yeah. I mean, we were looking at other people doing that, and now we become those people, right? So it's kind of cool with the passage of time. Do I want to slow it down? Do I want to go back? I think right now is probably the best time to be alive. I mean, as a competitor, it was in the 90s for me. But just to be able to absorb that history and blend it with what we know now about our sport, chemically, nutritionally, wellness-wise, I mean, right now is the best time to be alive.
Yeah, it's funny. When I used to pick up scrap magazines because I couldn't afford to go, I used to actually go to the GNCs or to the bookstores and buy the books, right, and look through Flex. And I used to see your images in there, and like that incentivized me to actually chase the bodybuilding dream a little bit because I saw you with all these crazy cars. You know, you always had the license plate, S-Ray, right?
I still got the pictures, yeah.
And I mean, you had all the top like motorcycles, and I thought, oh man, that's what kind of gave me the drive to actually move to California. Mm-hmm. And I thought you guys lived on a whole nother planet by the way it was. I looked at you guys in tank tops and shorts going to the gym every day, and I couldn't imagine getting on a motorcycle after training and being by the beach. Yeah. When you were training down in
Troy Zucolato,
right?
Yeah.
And you guys would that was life to me. I mean, do you ever have you ever think back at those moments, especially as a huge turning point? You were like a lot of the guys now are turning 60 or have, right? They're all knocking at that door. You retired super early compared to a lot of the guys.
Sure.
And that was by choice. You were one of the few bodybuilders that retired on your own time. Yeah. And you said, I think on the last podcast, it was like family and things, relationships.
It's on my mind.
Kind of changed that.
Yeah. I mean, I think it was It was calculated. A lot of what you're talking about, that imagery, I was coming up in that day and age of where you had MTV Cribs, right? And Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. And I saw like Tom Platz with the Corvette. It was very impressionable when you look in the magazines and you see that stuff in a magazine and then you actually see it in person. And I was catering to the people that were not in California. I knew about that California Gold's Gym beach flash lifestyle because I was coming up behind John Brown. He was selling it to me before anybody else. So as a teenager, I was indoctrinated into the perception of image. John Brown's image was that of an artist. He actually went to college, Cal State Fullerton, where I went as an art major. He would draw, he would design his own clothes, he'd have his certain swag about him. And I gleaned a lot from that, but I was selling the dream as I was getting better and better. And I was getting called in for these photo shoots. It wasn't a big leap for me to recognize that, are we doing this with a car? Well, let me get the car. And then it became a thing where instead of like using my friend's car, I'm going to get my own. And I was able to, make enough money where I want that Corvette. I want that Mercedes. I want that Lamborghini. I want that Ferrari. And those were things as a teenager, I'm like, oh my God, one day if I'm ever able to do it, I'm going to do it. And I did live the dream. And by sharing that, my first video, Lifestyles of the Fit and Famous, you'll see it. I'm driving the Rolls Royce up and down the hill. That was my mom's Rolls Royce that I bought from her. It was broken down in the garage, paid off my Corvette and gave it to her, took the broken Rolls Royce, had my friends who were mechanics fix the Rolls Royce. And there I was, 24, 25 years old, driving around, getting a Rolls Royce, top down, even back and forth from California to Vegas. I knew what that looked like to other people. Now, mind you, this was a big hunk of metal, right? I mean, a Rolls Royce that size, a Corniche, it's not like driving a Corvette. So my mindset was, look at me now, right? And I knew to keep the wheels on the bus, keep the gas in the machine, I had to do the business of bodybuilding. This shit wasn't being given to me. I had to pay the notes. I had to pay the bills. And going through all of those cars, while it looked like a lot of money, it was like we were making a lot of money. Remember, we were selling 8x10s for $10. I was selling posters. I was selling belts. I was selling T-shirts, sweatsuits, DVDs. And then I was getting paid for appearances. And you start to understand the business of bodybuilding. There's a lot of cash that you can manufacture and make if you play your cards right.
Plus the guest appearances.
And I had a mentor.
Contracts.
I had a mentor that had been there and done that. I met John. He's rolling in this drop top Mercedes. And I'm literally watching what this car is actually doing for his persona. Because we'd go to nightclubs. He's in there. They're announcing him in the club. He'd come outside, the drop top sitting there. He's got the music on, walks out. I mean, the hottest chick wants to know who he is. What team do you play for? What are you, Mr. Universe? And I saw that. And as a kid, I'm like, I want that. And I manufactured that into the fabric of my entire career, that me driving a Corvette satisfied my craving. But what it did to the guy that was looking at me, his perception of me, it impacted you. It impacted Flex. Now I got Flex Wheeler and Paul Dillette and Chris Cormier. We're like in a battle of the cars.
Of course, yeah.
These guys had a new car every year, and we were trying to step up our game, but we knew to keep paying those bills, we had to do the business of bodybuilding. And that's what really, I think, kept us on the edge of kicking ass, because we had to afford that lifestyle.
But it's funny today because you watch through social media, these kids are going crazy, Bugattis and
That's not
like all these crazy supercars,
Yeah.
SVJ, Lamborghinis. Like, it's now the bar has been raised, but you can understand why they are so motivated to get on social media, become a social media influencer, because they see these young kids, 20 years old, driving these kind of cars.
The difference is, Jay, you don't have to accomplish anything. Like, to get in a magazine, you had to be somebody. They weren't just looking for the next star. Like, you had to do something to get in there. They weren't going to call you because you had blonde hair and you have blue eyes. You have to like win some titles. Mm-hmm. And so if I was going to get on the cover of Flex, I had to win. And the good fortune of winning the Teenage America Junior World Championships and the National Championships is that I earned the right to be on that magazine cover. And then it was Flex, then it was Muscular Development, and then it was Muscle Mag International and Muscle Media 3000. Was that Jeff Everson's? So it was kind of a domino effect, because if you're hot, you're hot. And at that time, we could literally spin the globe and see where we want to go. I could send a fax to Germany to the guy that is running contests, and he says, yeah, come over. And I said, is there another city somewhere around? Is there another gym? Is there another store? And one appearance would turn into 4 or 5 appearances. And then while I'm there, I'm actually making appearances over in Holland and booking things over in Belgium. So all of this stuff you kind of learn on the fly. And then the guys that are coming up behind you, suddenly the magazines disappear. You realize that, I can control everything that the public sees. So through social media, you get a creative guy that knows how to put stuff together for you, chop it up and make it look nice, and you put it out there in the market. And I mean, I think that's how Sam Sulek became a thing. Like, Sam hadn't won anything. Nobody knew who this guy was, but you put a mic in front of him, you put a camera on him, he says the things that the kids like to hear, he gets a following. Now he's able to market that. Magazines are gone.
Can I ask you something? How much then was a good appearance fee? Let's break it down, because now I don't know how you travel still extensively for other brands. I don't know about you, but I only fly business now when I'm going to fly international. But even when I was Mr. Olympia, would fly coach.
Sure.
It wasn't as big of a thing back then. We just dealt with it. I think first class was just not something we thought about. So was there 300
pounds, by the way?
Yeah, but I still flew coach. A lot of the promoters wouldn't pay the first class ticket. How did you, what would be a good fee that you would get? Because I know you're selling the 8x10, so you know you're going to make those dollars on top, right? So what would you normally charge? You got to put in perspective how much money went, how far.
Yes.
We don't just fight insurance companies, we train for it. If you want results, get a lawyer that puts in the work. 107. Do you trust a lawyer that doesn't train? 102. Or a lawyer that quits when it gets tough? Pacific West Injury Law. We're built to win.
So obviously it's about time and distance, right? If I'm flying to Las Vegas, a 1 hour flight, I'm not going to ask for the kitchen sink because it's in and out. I can actually go home the same day, but I got to fly internationally. If I got to fly to New York or fly over to Florida, you're talking 5 hours on an airplane. Depending on what it is, am I making a store appearance? Because if you want me to make a store appearance for a couple of hours, $2,500, $3,000, we're good. But what I want you to do is find out if that gym owner would like me to come over and train at his gym. You know the gym owner. So I get you involved with talking to the gym owner, tell him I'll come over and work out for $1,000. I'll sign pictures. So there's another $1,000 on top of the $2,500. I have two opportunities now to sign and sell photographs, right? So that little $2,500 appearance turns into a $5,000 appearance, and it's cash money. Then I'm also trying to network and work on the clothing sponsor. I got the supplement deal with Joe Weider, the magazine deal with Joe Weider. I was representing Gold's Gym. I was representing Ruthless Wear. I had a glove called Saranac gloves, the Shawn Ray muscle glove, for 11 years. That was $1,200 a month. That's a lot of money from 1990 to 2001 to not worry about. These are just gloves.
Equipment, the shirt you want.
I was with Flex Equipment for a good time. Shout out to Mark Nally, representing 1978, Matt's birthday year, your born year. So I think it took a functioning mind to say, you know what, am I just going to do this for me, or can I make a business out of this? And I had the right people around me, and we talked enough about it that we gleaned a lot of information. Flex was learning from me, and I'm teaching Kevin Levrone. Kevin Levrone didn't even know how to make money. He came out to California, saw that I lived in the house, so I had this custom floor. I went back to his house like a year later, and he had the same floor I did. He'll tell you the story, the black and white checkered. He didn't know about the business of bodybuilding until he came out and stayed a weekend with me and saw me on the phones, saw the networking that I was doing, and then he put two and two together, and he ran with that. And he realized that he would have a career after bodybuilding because of what I learned from John Brown. And not to mention, I was learning, Milos was learning, Melvin Anthony was learning, Richard Jones was learning. We were all kind of in this thing together.
I was learning from a distance without being popular yet.
Yeah, and really it's slow moving because the magazines were 3 months behind real time.
What would you have charged back then for like an international, like if you had to guest pose?
Yeah, 5,000.
5,000.
And that was justified. Remember, I was a top 5 guy.
Yeah.
And
you won the Arnold twice.
There weren't a lot of guys asking for 10,000 because they didn't want to lose the job. And remember, this is a 2-3 minute posing routine with maybe an encore. And while I'm getting that $5,000, I'm making $5,000 in the audience with my stuff, my merch.
Cash.
So these were like trying to bring that kind of money back in the country was more of my concern. Although they weren't, you didn't get strip search. You didn't have to take your shoes off. I'd have a jacket on with cash going down here. My whole thing was getting the rate of exchange. I'd get screwed when I changed I'm going from Belgium to Italy to Ireland to all those different places. They're taking more and more from the rate of exchange. And it really was in the 90s kind of a cash cow for the bodybuilders. Now it's strictly like salary, most of the guys. And there's always someone trying to get over on you. Yeah, come over here. Oh, we can't afford that. So the art of negotiation is real in today's economy. I'm a retired bodybuilder. I'm not a competitor. So I'm not going to get what Hadi Chupin's going to get or Derek Lunsford's going to get. So I realize that being a business, I can adjust my price according to the opportunity of the place I'm going to. So for example, I'm going to Turkey for Panada. I haven't been to this country. I've been to Istanbul. I haven't been to Izmir, but I'm going there with my eyes set on this 3-day convention. But there's a lot of gyms out there. I get a lot of messages from people in Turkey. I'm going to make the rounds at the stores and in the gyms, and that's going to be on me. So that's up to me to try to organize on top of making my appearance for my sponsor. So my business never stops. I'm always trying to.
And you're your own manager.
My own man. I don't have a manager, Matt, but that's okay. I've been in the game, Jay, since I was 17.
I know, but did you ever
50
find it difficult, like telling people how they need to book you because of this reason?
No, because I think this is an independent contracted sport. You get from it what you make from it. Some people are athletes, like a lot of boxers. The boxers can box, then maybe not be the most articulate, so they got the manager over here negotiating the art of the deal. And that's all they want to do. I've always been in control of Shawn Ray Productions. And maybe there's more money to be made if I brought somebody in that could help me do some things, but there's something to be said for being self-made as well. Because I'm flexible. I don't have to fly business class. I'm not 300 pounds. I've flown coach many times. It's not beneath my pay grade to think that, you know what, that business class ticket is going to cost you $5,000. Give me the coach. I get enough miles that I can upgrade. And I'm savvy. Like, you know what, if I catch the right flight, it's going to be a different price. So I try to work with the promoters so that my expenses, yeah, I'm a promoter. So I don't want the expenses to cut into my salary.
We talk about that a lot.
Yeah. We always find ways, even though we both fly business, but we find a way to make it make sense.
Yeah. Yeah. And I you know what, I call it turtling up, because I've traveled South Africa. I've been all over the world on a weekly basis, especially in retirement, because I don't have to jump off the plane and run to a gym. I'm not worried about my appetite. I typically don't even eat on an airplane. I just totally fast. But the way that I approach traveling is a lot different, being a father with kids and with bills. It's like, do I want to waste this money on that business ticket, or do I want to save him the money on the business ticket and have it get a bigger salary, right? Or be flexible and make an extra appearance while I'm there. So I think that's why I'm still able to get around, because I'm flexible. I'm not rigid. I'm 12-time top 5 Mr. Olympia Hall of Fame bodybuilder. I don't have that air about me. I want to do the business about, rather than lose the gig, I'll work with the promoter so that everybody gets what they want.
Nowadays, you can actually get a lot of, we talk about this a lot, you can get a lot of gigs because the younger people don't want to do them.
100%. And most of the time, I've gone back 2 or 3 times in retirement because I'm workable, right? Like, I'm flexible, and I'm also helping them promote. Being a promoter, I look at things a little bit differently. Yeah, it's about business. You want to be paid for your time. But if I can help you make money, then you're going to want me to come back the following year. Most of the places I've gone, I've been 2 or 3 times before.
Don't you feel like, though, if you were to do a seminar, you weren't complex with your whole regimen? Meaning, when you got to work, it was like you never weighed your food. Right. So when you do a seminar and you try to explain that to today's crop of people, and they start asking about macros and about like training time under tension, or they ask about, like, do I do a drop set on this? But your training seemed to be pretty much the same all year.
Yep.
Your diet was just touch and go. How do people relate to that?
It's like, as a teenager, as soon as I started competing, they thought I was taking steroids. What am I taking? What am I taking? They're just the curiosity factor. But when you simplify things, and when I'm able to, like, show you, look, I don't have like registered things like Dorian Yates has. I also don't have to prove to you that it's as simple as it is. I think right now we're on information overload. Most of these kids believe in their mind, if I'm going to be a bodybuilder, I got to get a coach. That's where they start. I didn't start with a coach. I started with a guy that wanted to kick my ass because he thought I could be a good bodybuilder. And he wasn't teaching me the mechanics of bodybuilding. I was a sparring partner. Think of boxing. I was a sparring partner. It's either sink or swim when you get in the ring. And I was moving the weights around. I was changing John's weights, and I was going out, getting his food, running his errands. I was the apprentice. And when you are the apprentice and you see somebody doing what it is you want to do, you can see that if I just do what he's doing, it might rub off. But I certainly can't do it at the level I'm doing it. I got to level up. I got to try to match that energy. And so what John was doing in the gym visually and physically, you can't write that down and go, here, follow my routine.
I know, because this is how I feel today, Shawn. And the reason I ask this is because as we get further away from what we did, I'm finding it difficult to explain to the new generation, because they want every bit and piece of
down.
Well, they want there's so many theories now because you click on Instagram or TikTok and you see so-and-so's, you got, these new younger guys, like they're talking about like their theories of training.
Yeah.
Where I was just a volume trainer. Now, you have Nick Walker who trains like less volume and like he's really slow and methodical about where I feel like I trained like you. We're super explosive and we went through, I don't know how, like it just worked for me. So it's hard for me to actually break it down and explain to people, but it was day in, day out. And then it was like turning a switch on it, like 16 weeks out, dude. It was like, there was no world, right?
No breaks.
It was like eat, sleep, train. We didn't travel as much. Today, it's like we didn't have social media either. So it wasn't like let me shoot this set.
Yeah.
So we could really lock in. And I know with your workouts, because I used to watch you train, it was like, boom, partner you. And if you were by yourself, there was you put on your headset, didn't be bothered, didn't want to talk to anyone. Now today, because of social media, you have to take your vision out of the sets way too often. Do you feel it affects bodybuilding?
Oh, 100%. Because if you're looking at the algorithms on your phone and you're trying to record stuff while you're training, these are distractions.
Are you doing that, though, in your training now?
No, I mean, I don't train. I exercise. I'm real quick to say that I exercise. That's why I'm not injured. That's why I don't have the aches and pains, because that part of my life is behind me. I need the physicality and the functionality to travel this world, to give back everything that I've learned, to experience the universe the way that very few people get the opportunity to do. Because remember, Jay, when we were traveling, we were like, land at the airport, go to the grocery store, go to the hotel, go to the gym, do the appearance, and we're on the first bird coming home, right? It's a money grab. We just want to get the money and leave. Now, I want to see the culture. I want to understand the languages. I want to integrate with the people. I don't stand out in a crowd because I look more normal than I do, bodybuilding like. So it's easy for me to move in between these different cultures because they're not looking at me like a bodybuilder. So I like to experience life that way. And I know that my days are numbered like everybody else. And when you get on the backside of 50, some of these trips will never happen again in my life. And you don't know that it's not going to be your last time seeing, Niagara Falls. You don't know that when you go to Egypt and you're standing in front of the pyramids that you may never get a chance to come back. So I'm slow to spend my time in the gym when I go to these places, but I'm also aware that most of these places I'll never go to again. And I don't want to get hurt at this stage of my life.
Yeah,
Talk about this all the time. I made a mistake for many, many years. I traveled in the music industry, and you know how many times I landed in a city and went to an event, and as the sun was up, you were gone. Yeah. And now when we go places, it's like,
gotta smell the roses.
I need to go see this. Let me just grab my backpack and disappear for 4 or 5 hours and go see something, because you might look, tomorrow could be our last day. You might not see it again. So when you're here, take advantage of it.
All right, take two. Hey guys, if you have not heard, I've launched my own TRT clinic. TRT Kingdom is now live. And if you would like to schedule on consult or get more information, make sure you guys go over, check it out, and let us see how we can help with your health needs.
Click the link below.
Shit.
Say click the link below.
Okay. Click the link below.
Did you wake up when your birthday you turned 60?
I did.
And do you say anything different?
I was trying.
You said, I'm 52, right? And I mean, over 50, like you're right. Over 50, you start to really, like in the last 2 years, I've really changed my thinking a lot. Yeah. But what does it feel like? What is your mindset? Did you make a pact at 60, like I'm going to do this or that? Or is it just?
I didn't, it didn't overwhelm me. It felt like another day. I tried to be as reflective and thankful as I can be, because I got a lot of friends. My brother didn't make it to 60. He was 52 years old when he passed. I've been to more funerals than I have been to births in the past 10 years, because we got my friends' parents are passing away. That generation's going. Some of our heroes are disappearing. Ozzy Osbourne just left us. I tried to be reflective at 60, but I got to tell you, man, it just was another day. I spent a lot of it by myself, went to dinner with my family, but I am definitely at a place where when I see things, I'm starting to take pictures with my eyes. Because back in the day, I didn't take any picture. When I traveled, I don't have hardly any pictures of where I went. The entire 90s, I got nothing. The only pictures I see are from ones people took of me.
Why though?
I was in that mindset that I'm on the hunt, man. I was trying to hunt down Lee Haney. I was hunting down Dorian. I was chasing Ronnie Coleman, and nothing else mattered. I mean, I know you. I seen you in the gym. We were training twice a day, right? And if we had an opportunity to go pick up some money to keep the wheels on the bus, we're going to go make that appearance. We're going to come home, right back to our man cave, eat, sleep, and train. there was nothing else really happening from 1990 to 2001. The crazy part about those years is there's just a couple of moments that really stand out. I mean, it was 12 years gone. My career was over. I remember standing there when you got second place that year, and at that press conference, I knew in my mind I was done competing. And so those moments stood out. I was very abrasive, kind of combative. I even think in the video, because I commentated on what was it?
Yes,
Fox Sports Net. I remember I tossed the chair backstage. Like, that was my I'm done. And I followed myself through that routine, but when I hit the stage, I forgot everything I was doing. Like, that routine was just on the fly. I knew the song because I posed to it many times. I guest posed to it many times. It was when I turned pro too. But my exit was one of kind of rebellion. And when I walked off that stage, I was more pissed off at Wayne D'Amelia than anybody else.
Why?
I just thought Wayne was fighting me on every front. You know, the press conference, we're very combative about the pay-per-view, and I'm trying to figure out, we're doing a pay-per-view for you guys. The prize money hasn't gone up. Who's benefiting from the pay-per-view? I'm all about the athletes. If you're going to have a pay-per-view, I think I tried to make up a number, like if it's $25 and you have 100,000 people, you have, I think it was 1.2 million. Wayne corrected me on the math, but it didn't matter if they were going to make an extra $1. It was going to be because of the bodybuilders. And I was of that mindset, like, I'm giving you guys my name. I'm over here getting a third, fourth place check, which is going to pay my taxes maybe after it's all said and done. So I thought like I was getting too smart for the game. Like, they're the ones making the money, not me. And there's only one winner here, and that's the champion, and he's getting paid. Mind you, I had 8 contracts at the time, and I was all over the world. I was making money separate from the Olympia, but I wasn't making money from the Olympia. Mm-hmm. And I thought, this is bullshit. Pay-per-view now, and we got to make all these, got to sign these pictures over here, got to show up at that, I got to do this, I got to promote, I'm on the poster. I'm not making the money, they're making the money, and I was done. Never looked back.
Yeah, I remember that, and you were arguing. And the truth is Joe was paying all of us at the time. So
but we were working for Joe. This is the Olympia, right? Like, yeah. I separated the two because I thought Joe was a guest at the Olympia to watch the show. I thought Wayne was running the whole thing, and he really was, because he was making all the deals and all that other shit. And I just felt like Joe and Ben were insulated from.
And technically, wasn't Wayne their employee? Yeah,
he worked for them, but he was making he was calling all the shit. You would have thought it was.
And he was probably had side deals.
Oh, he had a bunch of side deals. Jay, I was pissed. I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna keep letting this guy get rich off of me. I felt like I was a pawn in his game, and I'd gotten to the point where, not because I wasn't winning, because I knew with the down and distance, that was the first time you had beaten me in that show. And then I thought, Ronnie's going to keep going. Ronnie won for another 4 years, and then you took over.
Did you think when I placed you, like, oh shit, like this?
I was done before you. I was done before you.
But was it a kind of like, oh, Jay Cutler now moves up from 8th to 2nd? Like,
that was now
what's happening? You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, as a competitor, you got to think, what am I going to combat that with, right? Like,
you're 35. He's 27.
I remember Lee Haney said when Dorian came, he said, it's going to take a Titan to beat a Titan. And I'm looking at Jay's the first guy to stand with Ronnie toe to toe. And I'm like, I'm out of this equation. But I wasn't out of it because of you two. I was more focused on the business side. I thought, I'm making more money not competing. I'm actually costing myself money by competing.
Because back then you were, like you said, you had all these endorsement deals. You would try, like, guest posings were like, you could just, and you were coming back place after place. Like, you already had your whole October booked because you were guest posing, because you were in super shape.
Yeah.
Why will you train? Why does no one train twice a day now? Explain this to me, please. I don't understand why it's in no one's protocol. I don't know if we went down the top 10 at the Olympia.
Yeah.
Besides maybe another cardio session, we weight train twice a day. I would do cardio twice a day too. So I was in the gym 4 times a day.
Yeah. I don't think they look at it as a job. Like, we sold out for that dream. And you knew that I was doing it. I knew that you were doing it. I knew Flex was doing it. And Flex is the laziest bodybuilder out there. He knows that. I trained with a lot of people. He is the last one to get any kind of motivation from, which was the most astonishing part of how great he became. Because ultimately he would do the business, but man, it was like pulling teeth to get him to do that extra rep. I got no motivation. So he got everything from me. I got nothing from him. But he did do the work twice a day. He did a lot more of it because he was lazy. So he had to do 2-3 hours of cardio. But what bodybuilder's doing 2 hours of cardio? Who's doing an hour of cardio? I did an hour and a half. I wake up 45 minutes in the morning. I do 45 minutes at night on top of 2 weight training sessions. That was my existence. And I think that speaks volumes to what I was able to do against such big guys. But all of us, I think, would look sideways and see that we're all training twice a day. You're doing an hour cardio, you're doing it. So we try to keep up with each other. Now it's different.
What was your heaviest weight?
242.
No, heaviest on stage.
218 in 2000. I think it was in New York that year.
So if you were competing now, would you have been in, or would you say, no, I'm straight to open. I don't want that.
I would be open because I always felt like I was one of the best in the world, right? They validated that. I didn't put myself there. They were scoring me there. So when I look at the disparity in the prize money, I would never even look at the 212. Are you kidding me? Wait a minute. So I'm the best 212 and the third place guy is getting $100 and something thousand, and you're giving me 50. I would never look at the 212 and say, hey, I'm the king of the small guys. There's nothing there for me, which is why I was trying to get Flex Lewis. I'm like, Flex, you got to go open, right? Keon, you got to go open. Derek will tell you, before he went open, I was in his ear going, you got to go open. I'm the one that referred him to Hani Rambod. I don't take credit for all of that stuff, but I knew a good physique when I saw one.
Yeah.
And sometimes they just need to hear it from the right people. And Derek jumped up. Hani jumped up. Flex Lewis, if he had jumped up, he could have made a difference in that division as well. I think Keon's the next one. But for me, I would have never considered 220.
What do you think about Urs jumping and these other guys? I know when you were on here last time, you said you've been trying to get C-Bum.
Oh, yeah.
So just talk about what you see happening now.
Well, I think
is the guard changing?
Some of our best athletes are in the Classic.
I said this on the podcast last week.
Or maybe even men's physique.
Let me tell you, some of them have gone there because they see the over rewarding of size, right? And they are purists like we were. Like they fell in love with the shape and the symmetry and the conditioning and the presentation. If you're in Classic and you don't have those ingredients, you're done, right? Yeah. So now you realize you're 6 foot, 6'1". You're trying to suck down. You're losing all the stuff that you're working for in the off season to make a certain fit in this mold. What is it? 229, 231?
That's in the height.
If you're 6 feet tall,
I think 227. Is it 240?
Chris was 240 at the
six,
taller
like
one.
6'1" or 6'2", yeah.
So Urs was like 225, I think.
Sucking down, holding back. It's like, dude, let that shit go. And as soon as you let it go, I mean, you start to fill out and you start to see the roundness and you see the fullness and you start to see what's possible. He doesn't have to be 40 pounds bigger. I told Bumstead, you don't have to be 5 pounds bigger. Just stand him next to you because then you have an opportunity to choose what looks right.
Well, and then it would set a new standard for, I think people's perception on who the winner would change automatically.
Yeah, because you're going to look at
it's going to be so much better looking. And listen, this is coming from a guy that was a complete freak, right? That's how I want to outmuscle people.
Sure.
My physique got, I don't want to say like it got worse and worse.
You played to your strength though,
because I had to chase Ronnie Coleman.
Yeah.
So to get to be Mr. Olympia, I had to over exaggerate everything, and the waist went, everything went, and then you lose the symmetry. At one point, I was never completely symmetrical, but I had decent aesthetics at a certain point
because of the shoulder width.
Yes, and
the waist,
my
wider waist
wasn't and the legs were huge, right?
So, and you're 5'9", that helps. And here's the thing, 5'9",
yeah.
And you were carrying an extreme amount of muscle. We were coming into that muscles thing, but now we recognize, in hindsight, you can't just have one without the other attributes. I mean, you have to have the conditioning. I don't see the feathers that these like on your quads. Like those are things you don't see that anymore, right? And you don't see the presentation. Even you, I remember you posing. You're not the greatest poser, but you could show your physique. Mm-hmm. These guys aren't even trying to show their physique. So the Classic guys recognize that that's part of the whole thing. Because why? Everyone else is working on it, right? Every guy out there, rough diesel. If you don't have that routine, that could cost you a first place or a last place. But Urs made the right decision.
Well, they pressured him, though, to be bigger and bigger and bigger.
Which Urs? Yeah, well, Urs doesn't need to be bigger and bigger. Look, I told Bob Chick, he thought he was going to get beat, or he was going to get beat in Germany, I think it was last week. And I said, no, if he stays the way he looked when he just won in Italy, he'll be fine in Germany. And he did.
Sharper, actually.
My advice was, don't go to the Olympia. There's nothing there for you right now. You're a work in progress. You just won 2 pro shows. Now you want to go there and stand on the stage and, I don't know, 8th, 9th, 10th. There's nothing to be gained there. Now is the time for him to grow. And then if he puts on the right type of muscle and the right type of size, he can come back and win the New York Pro and have the whole summer to get ready for next year's Olympia. What's he going to win this year? What's the goal? Okay, this will be your 3rd time. You're staying on a diet for a whole nother month. I'm totally against him doing this show, the Olympia, even though he's qualified. Because he's just made the jump up and he needs to put on some more size in certain areas, his back especially, more thickness, and get more time to get the detail for that mass. That takes time.
I mean, people talk about the experience at the Olympia, but he's already been there.
He knows what it's about. He knows
what's second, right?
Listen,
I think he got second once, didn't he?
Yeah, but I think he's been there 2 or 3 times.
No. I said I think he's up to second or third place, didn't he?
I think third.
Third was his best.
Yeah, but when you're talking about standing next to Samson and Jack and all these other,
and they're symmetrical,
you're not ready for that. So why go and just watch the show there? I did it. I was 22, 23 years old. That's different. He's got time on it. He could do like you do. I think you missed your first 2 Olympias. You qualified?
I didn't qualify the first one. No, I missed 98. I won the nationals in 96. I didn't do 97 or 98.
He's got time on his size because Samson's 40-ish almost. I mean, another year under his belt of just resting right now. He's got nothing to prove. Urs will be one of the most popular guys at the expo. That's where you make the business. You go there to make the business. You go there and compete in the show. He's going to say hello to what? 5 people and lock himself up in a room, go to the press conference and then go out there and he's going to have to deal with whatever they decide to give him. I think he's an automatic top 5 guy if he takes a year off. He goes this year, he'll be fighting for 6 through 10.
You didn't think he'd be able to come back with that weight though and be in condition
next year?
No,
it's too soon.
When they talked about him going to open.
Yeah.
Didn't you say like I can't? They said he's going to be 30 pounds bigger. No, did you ever think he was going to be in that kind of shape?
No. Oh, it's never kind that we saw.
Yeah. That's never really been done. If in your eyes,
he was in good shape, but it wasn't Olympia shape. Like I have a different standard for what you should look like at the Olympia. This was not the Olympia. And by the way, he's not standing next to Samson. He's standing next to Clint Beastwood.
Yeah.
Right. He hasn't even won. So you can look phenomenal standing next to guys that aren't as impressive as the legitimate Olympia. Has he even been to the Olympia, Beastwood? I don't think he's ever even been it. So we're comparing Urs next to a guy that's never even been in an Olympia lineup.
Don't you think he can upset a lot of people at the Olympia?
Urs?
That think that they're going to beat him.
Well, I mean, look, he's going to be battling who? Let's drop some names. Tonio, maybe if Tonio's there, he's going to be battling
Tonio's top 10.
Brandon Curry, who's aging out. Who else is going to be? Regan Grimes. But that's not where the contest. I don't know. My mindset is go there to compete.
Yeah, but you already know who the top 5 are.
Well, he's not ready for the top 5. And
do we know who the top 5
can
is?
Be.
Yeah, he'll be ready next year. I don't think it's this year. It's just we're going to see the same guy.
I think you're right. I think the fans in the U.S. want to see him though, and I think it
will
definitely hype the Olympia. They just put him out on a flyer this morning.
We were talking, me and Bob, on the Voice of Bodybuilding. Mike Matarazzo wins the USA, goes to the Olympia, gets dead last, and he's a footnote in the Olympia. We don't want Urs to be a footnote. He could be the next real contender.
Yeah.
By coming out and boom in the top 5. Remember Hunter Labrada when he got up there in the top 4? Remember Nick Walker when he got up there in the top 4? I mean, that's where Urs needs to be. That's not going to be this year, not with this lineup. So I would hold back.
Are you commentating this show?
I'm doing the opening and the close, but commentating is gone the way of the 8-track.
Why?
I did it for 20-something years. I heard the chatter. Some people don't like to hear the truth. Some people think I'm hating on the bodybuilders. But I don't. These are guys that they're young enough to be my kid, right? Like I'm 60 years old. The people I'm talking about are young enough to be my kid. I got kids older than that. When I talk about a guy with a bloated stomach or suspicious shoulders, crappy posing or ugly tan, those are things that I'm observing because I haven't missed the Olympia since 1988. Do the math. It's 38 something years like that. I've got most of these kids I don't even know. I don't see them in the gym. We don't break bread. We're not friends. I'm just looking at what I'm seeing and comparing it to what my memory tells me. If you look like you got some suspicious shoulders, I should be able to say that.
Don't you think, do you have your finger on the pulse, like as far as some of the new talent coming in, like,
oh yeah,
qualified?
I've seen all the talent coming up. I know them by name. Commenting on them now is a different universe because now with social media, these guys can say Shawn Ray hurt your feelings to go see what he said. They can take the soundbite and say, hey, he mentioned you by name, or, oh, he mentioned that you're having relationship problems, or you can't get cut, and it's us, it's me against them. I mean, Bob Chick's going through it now. There's the feelings police are out there in the universe and social media. Why do I want to break these guys down? I mean, I've done it for 25 years. Now I want to watch the show for what it's worth because I enjoy watching. It's different when you have to critique it because you have to be focused on every aspect of every athlete. You got to be fair and you have to tell the truth. And if I can't tell the truth and be fair, then I don't want to do that.
Was it like that back in the Fox Sports?
You go back and watch them. I was telling it like it. Fox Sports Net, ESPN, Joe Weider, they all hired me for all that stuff. Remember GMV Videos, Andy Olson's company as well. I was there for 20-something years for a reason. Now you got guys whose companies sponsor the Olympia and they grandfather it in. Hey, we got our guy who we want to put him in front. So you enter Phil Heath and Transcend. Well, we don't want to watch the show if Shawn Ray's going to do it. You got the coaches now saying, hey, we don't want that commentator. And it can go viral. Somebody started a GoFundMe to try to cancel me. Well, who gets the GoFundMe money?
Where's that check?
Canceling me. Who's the guy that got the GoFundMe money and how much did he get?
Is everyone too sensitive now?
Yeah. The feelings police are a real thing. And I'm aware of that. And I have zero patience for it. So you know what? They can't silence me, but I have to readjust. Again, we're talking about age and time. I got to readjust. Where do I want to invest my time? Do I want to invest my time fighting with nobodies and wannabes on the internet about my opinion of something that I'm looking at in the front freaking row, right? Backstage. I know these guys. These guys are at home on their laptops from a distance looking at a show, trying to commentate, and I'm there. I haven't missed it. I'm in the front row. I know these people. So if my opinion's not being valued, then I'll keep my opinion to myself. That's not something I'm ashamed of. I'll walk away in order to keep the peace.
And in all honesty, you actually have a qualified opinion.
And that's a problem.
There's a huge difference between opinion and a qualified opinion of someone who's witnessed it and actually stood there and went toe-to-toe with the best of the best.
Well, Jay mentioned it earlier. Did I get reprimanded by Jake back in the day? And I did. I got reprimanded.
Yeah, but why did they film it?
You know, I think to show that something was being done, right? A lot of people, when they get on social media and they throw these statements out there and they get everybody up in arms and they try to start a GoFundMe page. I think they wanted to show that, look, we're going to have a conversation with this guy and let him know that family and friends and young athletes and women, they're all a part of this universe.
They're all soft.
I didn't use that word.
I said it.
But they're all a part. So we need to be more inclusive. We're going through that with the whole Charlie Kirk assassination, right? There's the right and there's the left and there's all these, you got to choose a side. I didn't know the guy, but the sound bites I heard some nasty shit and I heard some pretty good stuff. But at the end of the day, I don't know him. So I don't have to formulate an opinion. He's gone. A murder is a murder.
Awful period.
You can't justify that. No. So any opinion that I got on it is going to fall on one side or the other. In bodybuilding, when I know what the hell I'm looking at, right? I mean, I knew Joe. I knew Larry Scott. I know Arnold Schwarzenegger. I watched these guys come up through the ranks. So I know what I'm looking at today. But when you have people that are out there actively criticizing a commentator because their athlete is the brunt of whatever criticism is coming, I don't need the headache, and I certainly don't want to try to justify that I need a microphone to share my opinion. My opinion's been shared enough. So now I'm at that point where, look, okay, I hear what you're saying, Jake. It's family-run business. Everybody's included. You need that straight guy that's going to just be in that box. That's not me. I'm not upset. I did it for 20-something odd years. I'm good. So for me, welcoming people to the Olympia, working at the press conference, wrapping up what I see, that's a whole lot more enjoyable for me because I can enjoy the actual show for what it is. But my mind's in a different place. I'm not sitting there analyzing every single guy, making enemies because of my opinion that would help these athletes. Even Craig Titus, I'm commentating going, he's got a bloated stomach, this, that, and the third. He comes back to me and goes, hey, this year I corrected what you said last year. Wait till I come on stage. The athletes can appreciate it in silence. But when there's this gang mentality of the coach, the wives are getting involved with people's opinion. I'm talking about this guy's physique and I got the wife coming at me. Social media is just a little bit too accessible these days. So I'm cool. I'll watch.
What about the state of what the new rules with the toning down the divisions next year when we have the bikini classic and men's physique?
Yeah.
Are there too many guys, too many people on the stage for those divisions?
Well, there's too many people. Sure. I mean, this should be the hardest show to qualify for. Yet every time I turn around, there's another person qualifying for it.
There's more people in this show than any other show in the world.
Before you get to this, you have to look at what else is going on in the universe, right? This is the biggest show of the world. So I want to see the best and the best. We're not going to see the best people in the world. We're going to see the ones that went to the right shows that qualified. So half of them are going to be ready for prime time. The other half are going to be those guys that just randomly qualified at a show because it was held, because they had a sanction. Because someone had enough money to give a sanction fee. If you have enough money to give a sanction fee and you have a show, you can qualify people for the Olympia. I think it's the wrong formula. I don't think this is where we all gather on that weekend to watch 60, 70 people go down. I'm a strong proponent. 15 is max. 10 is the best. Ever watch the Arnold Classic? After the show, I'm able to go to dinner. I'm able to walk out. I can go work out after that show. After the Olympia, I'm done for a couple of days.
Let me ask you, so they came up with a solution. It's a stepping stone, but we're still at 35 to 40 people qualified.
Up to 45.
Yeah, but I think you got to go harder. And if I'm the only one saying it, correct me if I'm wrong, but 35 people in any division is still too much. That's not enough.
Because there's shows that are going to qualify people that don't even have 20 competitors.
So Shawn, how does it rectify? How do they move from this fix to the next fix? Because
here's how I'm going to talk
about a transition.
I'm going to give you my educated, qualified opinion. That's to get everybody to listen in. Listen closely.
Here comes the hate.
Here comes the truth. You want to get it back down to your top 15 athletes, you have to use prejudging for what it's designed for. Prejudging takes place for the men. Let's just say we're talking about the men bodybuilding. Friday is our prejudging. It's going to be a marathon because everybody's there. But by the time I get to Saturday, Friday night, everybody knows who made the top 10. Not Saturday. If you didn't make the top 10 after Friday night's judging, it's pizza and beer. And I know that Friday night. So Saturday, if I'm not in that top 10, I can go eat breakfast with my family. I can go enjoy Las Vegas. I can actually maybe get a ticket to watch the damn show.
Yeah, but the other divisions are Saturday morning, Shawn.
So on the
Friday and summer Saturday.
Okay.
All right, Saturday morning. As soon as the prejudging is over, what is prejudging for? Friday or the finals are supposed to be for confirmation. Prejudging is elimination. So if it's one day show for, I don't know, the bikini, Saturday morning, Saturday night, when that prejudging is over, they know who their top 10 athletes are. They know who their top 15 before you get to the finals. The finals is where if you have to make some adjustment because it's close, you make that adjustment. But you know, Friday or right after the prejudging of every one of those divisions,
they know who
your top 10 is. They know. And if you know that, let everybody else know. Because you know what? I would rather be able to go out and eat and wash all this crap off my body and be with my family and watch the damn thing than to be hauled back on stage for a 10-second turnaround. But I got to get my hair and my makeup. I got to put the tan on. I've got to have all this anxiety and all this stress, and I don't know where I'm going to place. My family has to buy tickets so I can be up there for 30 seconds. It's not even fair to the athlete. So this is where I think some hard conversation has got to take place. You're not offending the athlete when you tell them you're not in the finals. Again, this is American Idol 101.
But you know what?
The finale has only 10.
Some might not want to go there because they don't want to walk across
but they
stage
have
for
to.
8 seconds.
They have to because you can't just walk away. You signed the contract. You're supposed to be here.
And then you don't show up, and then what happens?
Well, who knows? But in the minds of the athlete, they feel like they got a gun to their head. Because if they don't go, then maybe the judges or the promoter or the there's consequences. They're trying to run a show. And if they're expecting 30 people to show up for the finals, you better show up. You don't want to be the one that doesn't show up. But if I understand after prejudging that I'm going to get a text message, an email, a notification in my hotel room.
They could post it on Olympia.
They could post it on their site.
10. If your name's not here, go.
I would know that I don't have to go get my hair and makeup. I would know that
I bought the tickets for Saturday night.
Well, hell, if you go to a football game, what if your team gets beat? You go there with the expectation to watch the event and hope that your family's in it. Well, if your daughter or your son, if they're not in it and you bought the finals ticket, you're here for one reason, to watch the contest. I'm not only going to the show because my son's in it. I'm going because it's the Olympia weekend, right? And if my son doesn't make it, he could sit next to me and watch it with me and learn something. But the Olympia has to get that done.
But even look at like go to a track and field.
Yeah,
people buy
Olympic
tickets,
Games.
but if you get eliminated, they're not dragging all 60 people
and
out.
They're not leaving.
Hey, it's the top 10. If you're not here, then watching the crowd. And you know what? Watching the crowd can motivate you to get better for next year.
Educate you, give you that hunger, give you that thirst. Pay attention to the professionals that just beat you.
Losing's good in some cases.
Well, I can tell you right now, this is a participation sport where I feel like people that win automatically think in their mind, I'm going to the Olympia. And we've seen so many people that are not qualified to go to the Olympia. And that's the watered down effect of the Olympia. And that's the fatigue factor. I've got to suffer through this person that doesn't belong on this stage, and it's not their fault. But because they won a show, you win, you're in. And now, even if you cut that down to 35 people, what are we talking about? We're going to watch 20 people that shouldn't be there just to get to 10, right? And then we got to get down to the top 6 where the meat and potatoes is. We are going to fatigue ourselves. And the only solution that I have right now with 11 Olympia divisions is that this is going to have to be like the Olympic Games, where you have the Winter Olympics and the Summer Olympics. So now you're going to have to make some hard choices. The summertime, 5-6 divisions. Wintertime, 5 or 6 divisions. They're both the Olympia. And guess what? You can have the Olympia here in Las Vegas. You can have one over in the Middle East, over in Germany, down in Brazil. Separate the divisions and you have 2 Olympias. And that will reduce the amount of time in one weekend. Not only that, the judges get fatigued too. Think about it. If you're a judge, you're starting on Tuesday with the amateurs. Okay. And all the judges have to come because you have all those divisions. If you break it up into one in the winter and one in the summer, and they're both the Olympia, I guarantee you, if you had the Olympia in Dubai, if you had the Olympia in Brazil, you had the Olympia over in England, we've had them in other countries before, but take one out of America and keep the main one, right? You can have the Mr. Olympia here, or you can share the Mr. Olympia somewhere else, but we're going to have to get down to that separation because it's just too big.
Why did it stop traveling is the question.
New ownership.
But did you like it when it traveled?
I argued for it to be here. Me and Paul Dillette cornered Wayne D'Amelia and got that bad boy here when we were in New York City. So it was in New York in 98, I believe it was. And we had started those conversations and wound up in Mandalay Bay. Me and Paul were both living here at the time. That was the best move he could have ever made because it's nice that we didn't have to go all over the place for the Americans, right? But now we're so international.
Yes.
You don't think we could sell out Brazil? I mean, what the hell would they do over in Saudi? You see what happened with the fights in the UFC over in Riyadh? I mean, we are so popular on a global scale that it's ridiculous that we are stuck here.
And we wouldn't have to deal with some of the visa issues with some of the guys, right?
Hey, look at
visa issue. Take it to
Belarus.
Yeah,
Belarus is fighting here, and
well, we're not going to Iran anytime soon.
But there's other countries he can go to.
Oh, 100.
Dubai.
I'll tell you, the Arnold Classic has had major success in Brazil.
Yeah,
they had major success in Spain,
Australia.
And they're
Spain,
coming back to the UK. So that's not out of the realm of possibility. Look, if I'm going to give my 2 cents to the Olympia team, why isn't it being held in Arizona at the home base? You have it right there in the backyard of Olympia headquarters. You save a ton of money on your travel expenses. You know how much cheaper it is in Arizona than it is on this strip? I don't think it really matters where it is. No. What matters is what it is. I don't want to travel outside the country as an athlete to be on stage like a herd, a crowd. You know, I'm going to go to this thing and I'm going to have this depressed feeling that I'm going to be in a group of 80 girls. I'm going to be in a group of 40 men and feel like I'm not going to get a good look. We know the body changes on an hourly basis. And right now we're not seeing the best of our athletes.
I was looking it up the other night. I think there's just shy of 70 in Classic. It's in the upper 60s.
It is going to be
How can you judge that?
I gotta stock up on my sleep before the Olympia week, and it's a lot for the judges.
Of course.
And remember, I just had this conversation the other day. You know, we've seen careers come and go, right? I saw you come in 1999, was it? And you retired in 2007? No, 9, I think it was. I tried to tell you.
No,
tried to tell you to quit.
13. I said F. Shawn Ray. Do you remember?
Hey, you got your publicity. You were the feelings
because they was the first one to say that.
Shawn Ray says, and I said F. Shawn Ray.
Yeah, that was a soundbite.
We liked it.
Yeah,
because he said I'd pull out at the last. He's like, he's not coming back. It takes 11. I lost to Phil with the torn bicep. Remember?
Right. Yes.
I sat out 12 and I came back in 13. And you said there's no way he's going to come back.
Part of why he said that was so you wouldn't have any wiggle room.
And I didn't look. So I finished my worst, sixth place, which was probably even a gift, right? So in a sense, you knew us exiting and becoming in real life.
Yeah.
You knew what my mindset. You know, you can't fall out. That's why comebacks never work. After sitting out a year and guys coming back, it's like almost impossible because
it's no one's had success. I mean, Gary Strider made a nice looking comeback at my show, personally, but not professionally. The best guy to walk away, obviously, is Lee Haney, right? He walked out at 31 years old, and he was as best he'd ever been at coming off the drug-tested year. But most of the guys stayed beyond, and it's largely due to the business of bodybuilding. Because once you're in it, you have all these other obligations.
That's why I stayed.
And I'm sure a lot of athletes feel like, well, what else am I going to do to live this lifestyle? And if I stop, they're going to forget about me. If I make the announcement on stage, they're going to forget about me. I never made a formal announcement.
I never did either.
But at the same time, I got more busy, like yourself. We got more busy because we didn't have to hibernate and do the business of bodybuilding. But as it relates to the Olympia weekend, we keep bragging about the growth. We can look at the numbers. We can talk about the sponsorships and the crowd size and the participation with the athletes. You have to adjust with that, which is why I'm saying separate the two. You got 11 divisions. You got to go 5 divisions here, 6 here. Do one in the winter, do one in the summer. And then you got to make it harder for you to get to the final stage. So when I buy that ticket, I know I'm not going to have fatigue like I'm going to have this year, right? And I don't think I'm the only one that says I'm going to be fatigued because I've experienced that year after year.
It just seems like we've seen it going in a direction and everyone complains about it, but they haven't done anything to fix it.
Well,
they just keep complaining more and more and more.
I think people like myself who see a problem and talk about it raise eyebrows. I work for
Then
the
you're the
Olympia.
bad guy.
I work for the Olympia. I've been on the Olympia team since I turned pro in 1988. I'm not afraid to see the warts and the zits and the problems and the issues and say it, because if that's where conversation comes in. I don't like cancel culture.
No.
If you don't like what I'm saying, that's one thing. But if I'm speaking truth, then it's time to adjust. Look, if I'm going to pat you on the back because we're making more money and it's bigger and everybody's happy, not everybody's happy. The majority of the people are disenfranchised. And so all of those extra bodies on the stage, they're not leaving here with a good experience. John De La Rosa couldn't even get a ticket for his dad, and he's in the Olympia.
I tried.
Those are things that we have to make sure don't happen. That's why we've got to get out of this performing arts theater and get into an arena, because
Never should have left New Orleans.
Well, I think at the time, like, we didn't have that anything to compare it with. So leaving it, we needed to find out that is a great arena, the resorts, but the Olympia's outgrown it. Yeah. So we got to grow. We got to adjust with it. And it's not. You have a 10,000 seat arena. You probably get 2 or 3 tickets for your family. You're an Olympian. You're helping sell the tickets. We're going to come to the athletes first, make sure they got all their tickets. We're going to go talk to the legends, make sure that they have theirs. You ever watch the Grammy Awards, Oscars?
Watch any sport.
Anytime
you're in the front row.
Boxing fight this weekend.
A boxing fight. They pan the audience, right?
They fly them in.
They bring them in and treat them because they're the foundation, right? I mean, these new kids need to know who paved the way. The VIPs need to have their tickets as well. So Dan
did a pretty good job, though. He did set a lot of us up, I felt, last year.
100%. I'm part of bringing in those legends.
But I mean, I looked around, like Haney was next to me.
60th anniversary.
I saw a lot, like Ronnie Coleman was there. I mean, there's other people like who didn't come, like Dorian Yates, who didn't fly over because
he said he had surgery or something.
Yeah, and Kevin wasn't there, right?
We got to make sure those people are there, right? Like this, there's an area that has to be maintained, because if you blink, these people are going to be totally gone and totally disenfranchised. So we got to pay homage to these guys while they're here, right? And show that respect. The only way that we can make the athletes happy, the legends happy, and the crowds happy are three basic moves. And this is for Dan. I tell him, give my opinion. He can do what he wants. But as a producer, as a promoter, you got to take care of your legends, because they laid the groundwork. 2, you got to take care of your athletes. And I don't mean all the athletes, because all the athletes don't deserve to be here. They may qualify, but they don't deserve to be here. But for example, these guys that place in the top 10, the guys that place in the top 15, there has to be more than just a participation medal, right? So first, the athletes that are in the show, the finals, we got to make sure that they are taken care of also, so that the family can support them. They have to have an extra ticket or a +1. And then number 2, there's got to be responsibility of our Olympia champions. Every one of those winners, when you qualify for the Olympia, you sign that thing, I got my ticket, there should be things for those guys, at least 5 things, right? Jake Wood pours all of his money into this industry. They should all be supporting what he's doing as well. They just had the Rising Phoenix. I wonder how many of the past Olympia winners were sitting there supporting what he was doing.
Probably none.
I would make sure that they're at my show. Come hell or high water.
I didn't know it was going on.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, it's been happening for years. Andrea Shaw just won her 5th one. But what is the obligation?
I know you were in.
No, I was in Hawaii. But what is the obligation of our Olympia winners, right? Like when you won the Olympia, you had to go out and take pictures with Joe Weider, because get all in the magazine. That helps you, and it's good for Joe. There's absolutely no requirement to do anything if you win the Mr. Olympia title from the Olympia organization, and I think there should be, because if you're giving away $600,000, I got at least 5 things that I need you to do for the Olympia brand before the Olympia comes around.
Appearances at amateur Olympias around the world,
all kinds of reps,
seminars around the world.
And the athletes would work. If you're Miss Universe, you're happy to get that $250,000 contract and all of these appearances that you make, wearing your sash, going around.
But they're not paying people on the outside.
But you just win $600,000, $600,000, and you're Mr. Olympia. Everyone knows that if you win, these are the things you have.
Essentially saying, if you become an Olympia champion, there's things that come with
obligations,
responsibilities.
Yeah, but what happens if that's a weekend that they could have booked for 10 or 20?
It doesn't matter if that's the weekend. You just won my show. You're working for me. You just won my prize money. So you owe me 5 appearances, and I'll let you know in advance so you can schedule the Riders thing. But the main thing is, I want you in Pittsburgh. I want you in Weinbergers. I want to take care of my people that help run the Olympia for me, and I need you to make some appearances here. I need.
Imagine if you have an amateur Olympia in India and Samson shows up.
Yeah,
he's a reigning Mr. Olympia. That
helps. It changes.
That helps the brand there. Yeah, globally.
Or Keon. I mean, you got 11 different winners. Even the wheelchair champion. He should know going in that if I win this title, the Olympia is going to send me somewhere. They're going to do something to publicize me. So there's some things I think that need to happen conversationally, and you can't take that as a diss because I mean we're growing at such a fast rate. There's going to be a lot of fucking leaks and people with different ideas.
Yeah.
But what we have to do is be time sensitive on how long, because we're all going to be fatigued come Olympia weekend. That's not a bad thing, but you know what? When you get fatigued, those judges, they phone it in. You know, you're looking at body after body after body, and suddenly you're like, I'll take the girl in the orange, give the guy in the I recognize him. And so the quality of the scoring is going to change because you're fatigued. It's too much work. It's too much sensory overload. And do you have time to go back to your hotel and shower? Do you have time to go change your clothes? Do you have time to eat? Do you have time for your kids and your family while you're at the Olympic weekend? Logistically, not everyone stays at the resort hotel. You know, you might be all the way at the other end of the
most
shop.
of the athletes don't.
Yeah.
No, they need a kitchen.
You're at the other out. Again, there's another thing. So again, if you're able to hold the Super Bowl in a different state every year, right? They move it around every year. You can move this around too. And if I were the Olympia team, I'd start by going to Arizona. It may not be the bodybuilding capital of the world, but financially, how much does Jake save by keeping it in his backyard? How many people have to come here to run this machine? How many trips do you have to make throughout the year to get here to organize it? So I'm going to go, you know what? We're going to have this right here in my backyard. I'm going to save, I don't know, $100,000 in travel fees for that particular weekend. And I'm going to build up Arizona. This is
like Jim having the Pittsburgh Pro now in his backyard. You know?
Yeah, Jim Manny's not traveling. Yeah. His show's right in his backyard, and everyone's coming to his show, and it's going to get better.
They'll go wherever the Olympia is.
Yeah,
doesn't matter.
Let me ask you this: what was your favorite Mr. Olympia you competed in?
That has to be my first one, Jay.
Where was it located?
That was Los Angeles, man. That was like, no, this is where I'm differing from a lot of guys. I didn't go there thinking I was going to win that show. I was obligated. I qualified in May by winning by getting fourth place at the Night of Champions. Back then it was the top 5. So I qualify in May, but I was on this national tour as a national champion in 87. Like you said, I booked myself up crazy. And I thought maybe in the summer I could guest pose myself into shape. Not only that, I'm guest posing and I'm making money, and I'll take the last month off. And by that last month, I had shot my wad. There was nothing happening because I was gone every freaking weekend. As the national champion on the magazines, I was everywhere right off of the Night of Champions competition. And I was with Lonnie Teeper, I think it was like 2 days before the show at Universal, eating Carl's Jr. You might as well go ahead and eat. I mean, you're not going to do anything. And I was of the belief that he's 100% right. And he was. I was off. I was watery. I was soft. I was smooth. But I got it in my mind that I'm going to the Super Bowl of bodybuilding. I'm going to be on that stage. I went there as a student. I had to do it. Contractually, I'd signed the contract. But I didn't go in there with my head down. I was on that bus, and I looked over. I saw Bob Paris, and there was Albert Beckles. We did the weigh-ins with our little robes. I was a kid in a candy store. All these guys that I was competing with, they were on my wall at my house. And it's funny because I came off that stage and went home to that wall, and there they were. Like, I was just on stage with him.
I know. I was so nervous, like 99, like sitting at the press conference with all you guys, and we were all suited up then.
Yeah, we had to wear suits.
So like, I had to buy a special suit for that, right? And I'm going to a show that I think I'm going to stand with you guys. Like, I really thought I could stand with the top guys because I felt like after going to the Chris Lund shoot 2 weeks, I came out 2 weeks prior to shoot with him. And he's like, man, you're super impressive. Kevin Levrone said, man, you look so good. And then to not get any call outs, it was so disheartening. And I'm thinking, I sat in the room after and I said, man, am I good enough? You know? Yeah. And I was really depressed because I actually was in great shape. I didn't have the, now looking at it, I just didn't have the maturity, the quality. It was 25,
it was mature,
right?
Yeah. It
was 25 against seasoned guys like yourself and Kevin.
99 Olympia was stacked.
Yeah, I mean,
it was stacked.
That's the year Flex took the medal
the medal off.
He was upset. What did you finish in 99?
I was 5th place in that year, and I thought I should have been 4th. I thought I had Kevin Levrone, but that was the one where Chris Cormier got 3rd, and he was real quick to remind me. Yes, I told him earlier, I said, you're never going to beat me. When you beat me, I'm quitting. I'm retiring. He reminded me. And he reminds me of it to this day.
But he looked pretty good that year.
I think that was the best Chris was. And I think that's when he was doing those, was that when he was doing the Arnold against you? Or not yet? That hadn't
Not
happened.
yet. But he next
nailed
year,
it. Yeah.
2000 he did. But
yeah, Chris was coming into his own.
So do you feel like today's, like if you look at the top, I'm going to talk about the top Olympia. So you got Samson, you have Derek, you have Hottie, you have
Andrew, Nick
Martin.
Walker,
Martin.
Those are
Like I'm going to say, because Martin was fourth last year. I don't know how. Like, there's a certain top 5 guys.
Yeah.
Do you feel like that's like the time where it's like you, Flex, Nasser, Chris, all the, like, you know, it can kind of flip around. Like, who did you flip with the most? Like Kevin?
Yeah.
Even Ronnie Coleman you flipped with quite a bit?
Well, I didn't
he
flip
was
with
behind
Ronnie.
you. No,
he was always behind me 5 years in a row.
So who was flipping the most of your,
I think
was Labrada, were you flipping with him?
I finally caught Labrada in 93, and I think Labrada retired in 95.
He did. So, but you and Flex,
Chris
and Kevin Leverone flipped a lot, right?
Yeah, we were moving around. I think I got 3 fifth place, 3 fourth place, 3 thirds, and 2 seconds, and then 113.
What was the disadvantage when was it your conditioning that you missed, or was it a size thing?
I don't think it was me. I think I missed my peak in 98 because I tried to come in heavy. I was 218. I was normally doing my business between 204 and 208. But I was competing against guys that were just bigger, like Kevin.
So were you changing your protocols? Not so much.
I wasn't changing much. That's probably part of the knock, because I wasn't changing drastically. Whereas these guys had the height and the volume, and Chris is the same height as Ronnie. Kevin's the same height as you, at least. Flex is 5'10", 5'11". So I'm on the shorter side every single time. One of the things I got changed after the 88 Olympia, I think it was what we used to have to do is walk out there and stand there for the symmetry round. That was the first thing that everyone in the audience saw. We lined up and we stood there. It took 45 minutes to get through quarter turns. I got that changed to have one athlete at a time come out, go through their 8 mandatory poses, and leave the stage. That's the first thing the judges see. Is we're standing in the back, pumping up, holding back our water and all that stuff to go out there and do quarter turns. I mean, I'm pumped. I'm ready to flex, but now I got to stand like this for 45 minutes while you did yours, while they did theirs. So I was proud that I was able to go, look, if you bring us out one at a time, the judges see us by ourselves. Then after we've all posed and done our 8 poses, now you can bring us out for comparisons for that
symmetry round.
At least we've got the beginning part out. Because after you stand for 45 minutes watching everyone else do their shit, you can't pose. You're flat. You're cramping my lower back, my hamstrings, and they heard that and they changed that. I'm not sure how it works today. Is prejudging the same way? I'm not sure if they stand there or if they're coming out one at a time.
I think they come out one at a time and then they bring them out as a group.
Okay.
No, they bring them as a group and one at a time.
I don't like that. Why you bring them out as a group? They're back there pumping up to look their absolute best. The first thing you want to see is them individually. So they're at their absolute best. They're pumped up. They're dehydrated or whatever. And then bring them out as a group. Because now I know who to call because I've seen you all individually. Now I know what all you guys look like. Give me that one, and that one. But if I'm coming out as a group, okay, and then I'm bringing another group.
Bring out 1 through 5, and then they do their turns. Go back. Bring out.
I don't want to see them do turns. I want to see them do mandatories, right? Like the quarter turns aren't gonna. It's a bodybuilding show. Hit the double bicep.
So you don't think the symmetry round is important?
I think it's important after we've seen what you've been working on. When you practice in the mirror, are you practicing your quarter turns the whole time? Or are you flexing your
Well,
muscles?
I used to practice quarter turns because it was the first call.
I guarantee the quarter turns are probably the least amount of time that any of these bodybuilders spend.
Well, I would hold for 10 seconds. You did too, because I watched.
But you guys were judging it. They don't judge it anymore.
Yeah, they don't.
What do you think about the stances of bodybuilding? How it's changed?
I hate them.
Why did it change, Shawn? Why are the legs further apart? They're
standing bow-legged and they got the handlebars up here. And I just think that in their minds, they think that they're wider than they are. But who's teaching you to stand that way? Like if I'm a coach, am I saying, okay, put your elbows up? I mean, their hands are above the waistline, right? They should never be up this high, right? When you're up here and your hands are like this. If you're from the rear, I get it that you want to throw your lats out. But bringing your hands up here like you're on a Harley Davidson, even the girls do that. So it begs the question, who's coaching these people? And what videos are you watching? And what is the role of the federation?
If they're not being corrected, then why is it going to change?
The judge has to do it. I'm sitting here. You get 10 of us, right? We're judges. But as soon as I see it, Steve Weinberg once in a while, put your arms down at your side. Wayne D'Amelio, put your legs together. I mean, give these guys some instruction.
You hear complaints about the stances?
All the time. And I travel the world.
Then why don't they do anything to change it?
I think here's the difference. You came and you retired and you were gone. I came, I retired, and I was gone. When have you seen judges retire? I haven't seen, you get your judging card, you're going to judge as long as you want to judge. I mean, there's judges that have been there. I've been retired 24 freaking years. There are judges still judging that judged me when I was competing. Now, is this like, I don't know, Supreme Court? I think these judges need to be rotated. Like there should be a tenure. Okay, you're gonna judge for 5 years, and then we're gonna reevaluate your judging. But you don't get your judge's card and get to judge for the next 20 years.
Well, they do handpick the Olympia people because I think they use qualification of it.
Yeah,
you know,
of course. But 20 years, 30 years. What? Who?
Well, I know, but if you have Steve Weinberger, who has probably a better eye than most people, I know you had your.
That's a head judge, but you could rotate.
So he can get. So how long does he get to do it? I mean, is he the only qualified guy that can do it? Because there's shows all around the world. Is there only one guy that can do it? But I'm just saying, the Olympia is no different than the Hawaii show. The Olympia is no different than the Jay Cutler show. It's a physique contest. What special qualifications
do you think there's certain judges that are better than other judges?
Well, they're more experienced. I don't know. Maybe Trey Dye. I remember Jim Mannion told me his wife can pick out the winner before he could. That was telling because she goes to all the shows with him. It's natural to think that Tyler is qualified because he was there with his dad taking the pictures all the time. If you're exposure, you're probably more apt to be able to see what's supposed to be. You're in that structure. But there's not one person that can do it.
Jim Mannion did the course in 01 when I did the course and all that.
Jim did it for many years.
He was a judge on the judging panel.
So what happens if Weinberger winds up having hip surgery during the Olympia weekend? Right? I mean, it doesn't. All right. What happens if Tyler is having a baby that weekend? There are qualified individuals that can do it. I'm just saying, why are we having the same people do it all the time at all of the shows? I'm of the opinion that if I see another poster come out with the judges on it, I'm going to lose my shit.
I was just going to say, here we are. This is a professional bodybuilding and amateur bodybuilding league, and the judges are on marketing and photographers and executives more than the athletes.
What would you do? What would you do if you saw the Super Bowl and you saw 3 referees on Super Bowl 61?
There's no industry in the world that promotes judges.
Well, did you watch the fight this weekend?
Yeah, I did.
Did you see who the judges were?
No, and I don't even care who the judges are. My point is,
there's 3, and we don't know who they are.
At some
we
point,
still don't know until the end.
We questioned how close they had it, though.
At some point, the athletes have to speak up for the athletes. And so I got labeled a loudmouth. I got labeled controversial because I was speaking up for the athletes. But you don't have the athletes speaking up. And they're the ones that should be having this conversation.
They're afraid. They're afraid they'll get blackballed.
My blood, sweat, and tears is going into being a pro and being an Olympian. And I turn around, I'm looking at a judge, some dude hasn't done anything, never even competed, or some girl that's never even competed, or maybe they have competed. They're not coming to see them. They're coming to see me, or they're coming to see my colleagues, and they're the ones that should be celebrated. I
just saw a marketing post that had an Olympia winner on it, and above them was a judge, and above them was the MC, and nobody cares about this shit.
I care.
Athletes.
I care because it's a visible slap.
No, what I mean is, people aren't buying tickets because there's a judge. Like, oh shit, I want to see how this guy judges. Let me go buy a ticket.
But
no,
it sounds like somebody's given the order because I'm seeing it in Europe.
It's across the board.
I'm seeing it all around the world that this judge is no one's coming to see the damn judge.
I saw another marketing post that showed the list of the athletes, and next to it showed who their coach was.
Wow.
Why are you promoting who gives a shit who the coach is?
I'll tell you. Let me back up because I think a couple of years ago I got hit with this. I got a graphic made that had the judges on it. I just randomly went ahead and put it up there. And then I quickly regretted it because I'm thinking I'm promoting the Shawn Ray Hawaiian Classic. But it was just going around so much, all these judges, flyers, I really wasn't paying attention until I started paying attention. And now I'm thinking, where does it end? All right, so you have the judges on there that are celebrated. It's going to be the Olympia, right? And you see an all-star lineup of our Olympia judges. Nobody cares.
No.
Why are we seeing? They're not selling tickets. No one's coming to see them. So who put out the moratorium that says we need to celebrate our judges? Somebody should put something out that, look, no more judges on the thing. I know that they took away you remember the swords that they gave out as award? They took those away because the athletes can use them against the judges if they don't like the opinions. You've seen these guys over here in Iran. Yeah. They'll fight.
Yeah.
So here you have on one hand the judges trying to be protected, but on the other hand, they're being celebrated. And I just think every opportunity we have to celebrate our champions, our competitors, we should take that because
of course
they don't have the ability to speak up for themselves. A lot of them are fearful.
They're scared.
A lot of them want to know. I get emails all the time. Who's judging your show in Hawaii? The athletes are curious. I never was. Were you competing? No. I didn't give a shit who was judging me. I was
there to win.
I was concerned about my competitor. But now you have the athletes. It's another thing they have to consider. I might do that show, but I heard so-and-so's judging. And I know that they don't like girls that look like this. I'm not going to do that show because I heard that judge makes you do this or that and a third. The athletes shouldn't know anything about the judges. Who's judging, where they're coming from, and why are we making them insta-famous? What is it doing for us? It's not, as a judge, as a promoter, it's not helping me sell tickets. No. It's not giving my athletes an advantage unless the athletes happen to know the judges. But a lot of judges are trainers. A lot of judges are coaches. A lot of judges are friends with trainers and coaches. So we don't need to get into this whole, I just think you want to have a judging clinic, put them all over your poster. You want to have a bodybuilding show, put the athletes on the in the story. That's where I'm coming from.
Yeah. It seems like in the bodybuilding world, the athletes are put last.
And the athletes,
it does seem like that.
And the athletes aren't saying anything about
Go look on the Olympia's Instagram and show me the last time that the Olympia set up a promotion for the reigning Mr. Olympia, where he's doing an interview, where he's doing a magazine, where he's doing a TV show, where he lives in the UK. You don't think Piers Morgan would put him on? He put Phil Heath on. Yeah. You don't think they would celebrate him in the UK? Why are they not doing this? Samson is Mr. Olympia. He should be celebrated just like Jay was, just like Ronnie was. Ronnie was on Jay Leno.
Yeah.
You were on ESPN.
I was on the dating game.
Exactly.
I was on the Phil Donahue show.
How did you get on there?
I was working it. So I had people that I knew people because I was down at Gold's Gym. I had people that knew people, but I wanted to be that guy.
I really thought when I won the Olympia, like, it would be a huge, big thing.
Yeah.
And I
find out it's cold sport.
You find out real quick, and then you watch Hottie and you watch Big Ramy land in their country, and
president picks him up.
And you're like, wow, like
appreciation.
We really, we win the Olympia, and I walk out the next day, and it's
another day.
Crickets, yeah.
It's another day.
You're back to walking your dogs.
Yes.
I would love to see us get back to where, like, part of the job responsibility is to celebrate our Olympia and make it a point to get them in these other venues, other avenues. Not everybody wants to do it.
We had Dana White sitting right there.
Yeah.
And he says, I used to go to the Olympia. I'm a huge fan of it.
Mm-hmm. Olympia,
this is a guy that's promoting. Just promoted the boxing with the.
He had the UFC and the boxing in the same night. He flew from San Antonio. He walked in the arena, pumped the crowd up, went out, got in his private jet, flew here, landed, was in the front row for the fight.
Yeah.
In the same day.
It's dedication right there.
But he was a fan of it. He followed it.
Yeah.
So you have all these celebrities that, like, really, they all know, they follow the business. Of course. How many athletes you ever run into are actors? And,
all the time.
They all followed it, know what the career was, and talk about, hey, how is so-and-so doing? And it's just, I feel like these guys, they should want to attend the events.
Well, I remember, like, Joe Weider had a travel agency. So that would take care of all of the athletes, the travel agency. Then he had the branches of media with the writers and with the photographers. So he could,
publicist.
He could send you to these different places. Yeah. But again, because I said there's zero responsibility of our Olympia winners, not just Mr. Olympia. You compete, you take the prize money, we'll see you next year. The Olympia Federation, the Olympia organization can create going forward. Just say it's the top of 26. When you sign up for your IFBB Pro card, it's shooting back. Here's all of our requirements for the Olympia, right? Here's what you have to do. And in that, you have the media blitz. I'm not sure how many people from here are lined up when they win for real photo shoots, right? You had the media on Joe's side.
I can tell you, I manage athletes. You know who sets up my athletes? Me.
Yeah.
We have photographers set up.
So it's a component because
they need it.
Yeah. Well, again, it's a component that's missing. Yeah. Maybe they'll hear me. I don't know, but I'm not in on most of those meetings. But yeah, you need a media side to photograph them. Then you have to set up are they going to be on TV the next morning here? Is there something that they do after they win, or do they just get to go to the buffet? Like, they have the seminar, but the seminar, you're talking to the same audience, right? So there needs to be some bigger things if we're going to broaden our horizons. We can't just look at the numbers. And if you want that pay-per-view to grow, then give these guys a platform to make them famous and stop giving all that attention to the judges.
You know what I regret, Shawn? I regret, and today, this is so important, is not hiring a photographer to take a ton of personal shots after every show.
After the show.
I had so many booked with all my commitments with sponsors that I never took the time and spent $5 or $10 or $20,000
For your own.
for my own.
Yeah.
I've been blessed enough to have like a Jason Breeze or Kevin. They've all given me pictures, Kevin Horton. But now I'm running to the fact where it's like, I want to grab images. Well, how much is it going to cost?
Exactly. And that's a lesson for anyone that's competing today, that
Own your shit.
it's not over when it's over. And you don't have to win. I never won the Olympia, but I was one of the most photographed guys. I didn't own the pictures. Right. And there's a big difference in owning a picture, because if you want a picture to put on this product right here,
You have to own the rights.
you have to own the rights. And if you don't,
If you don't, you're going to have a nice
pay for it. Yeah. You're gonna pay. I did one. So remember the Rip Fuel by Twin Labs?
Yeah.
Yes.
They gave Mike Nevue took the picture.
And it was half your
It was
body.
$2,000. Yeah, just cut my head off, and my famous shot here. They put that on Rip Fuel. You know how many units they sold of Rip Fuel?
Did you ever get
They're
money?
still selling. They gave me $2,000.
I know, but you,
That was it.
because we signed those releases that
That's it.
released
I didn't own
those
the picture.
photographers
From liability.
use everything. So forever, I became,
Yeah.
which I never imagined I'd become as successful as I did. I was that much more valuable.
I was all over Rip Fuel without my face, and they sold I don't know how many. If I just got $1 or a quarter for each one, I'd still be making money today. I think Rip Fuel might still be around. But those are the lessons you learn in hindsight.
That's
why-
one thing. If you're competing and you want pictures forever, take the
Make
time.
your own.
There's a million photographers out there that shoot for bodybuilding.
Yeah.
And line them up.
And think about it. I mean, you have the desert landscape. You have all of these gyms out here. It's like Gold's Gym, Venice. And
Spend a week here.
Spend some time here. And that's how you promote yourself. Not only that, you use them for your own social media, but you know where you're at today, but you don't know where you're going to wind up. And again, what was your first Olympia? 11th, 12th?
I was 15
And then you moved up to 9th?
to 8th of 2nd.
But my point is, you didn't know where you were going to wind up. You knew where you were. But had you done that all those years, I mean, and owned that library of photography, we'd have owned all my pictures, right? And Iron Man magazine, whoever took a picture of me, they own those, because
They can do what they want with them.
that's
That's the way.
Yeah, the
copyright
last year,
laws work in
Jason
US.
Breeze, I did a shoot with Jason Breeze for my.
We still have them. I got the whole.
Yeah.
I got the whole photo.
a cell phone is not the one. You got to hire a pro and keep it. Pay him.
Lighting.
Give him a day fee, because you know where you're at. You don't know where
you
you're
ever
at.
hire a photographer either.
Not. I never did.
And we didn't think about it because we never imagined social media.
Yeah. It was a different
Now
era.
you can monetize it.
Now you can monetize it. Right. Well, are you still autographing and selling pictures?
I am. Yeah.
Yes, I give mine away, because I work with my sponsors. I put their logo on.
Yeah, they have a mail order that does it. I learned from you.
Yeah.
I told you about
It's a
that.
good business.
Yeah.
It's a good business for some.
Still every day.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you know where you're at. You don't know where you're going to be, but that's probably a great lesson for the guys coming up, is to hire a photographer and do the gym stuff, do the clothing stuff, do the modeling type stuff, right? Because I got pictures with hot chicks with my cars and stuff, but yeah, you're thinking so much about the contest that your bandwidth. So that's why you got to do it early. Plan that early. Get it out of your way before you start getting on low carbohydrates.
What's your schedule now? The next few months.
So now I just flew in from Hawaii. I'm going to go to the Monday night football game here. The Raiders are going to beat the Chargers and go 2-0. It's going to be one of those years for us. We're blowing up. And then right after that, I'm flying to Izmir, Turkey for an exhibition. And that's going to be with the Panada group. Lee Haney will be there. Bob Ciccarello will be there out in Turkey. Then I'll come back here for the Mr. Olympia weekend. And right after the Mr. Olympia weekend, I take off to Dubai for the Dubai Muscle Show at the end of October. That'll be with Panada once again. And I think I wrap it up after that with my show in Hawaii, November the 8th. The Shawn Ray Hawaiian Classic. Pro Bikini.
Turkey, what are you guys doing out there?
Equipment company, Panada. I'm sure you heard of it. It's the best
sure.
gym equipment on the planet, right? So Lee Haney will be out there. Bob Chick will be out there. It's the first time for me going to this 3-day expo, so I'm excited.
Are they promoting this new chain driven? Is that the Lee Haney series? Or?
That's a fantastic line. Lee's promoting that angle of it, but yeah, he's part of the Panada family. We also have that Nexzilla. He'll be out there. I think we just brought on that the female Laura Lee. I think she just came on board with Panada. So they're doing big things with their gym equipment.
And so talk about the Olympia this year as far as, like, do you think Samson, I heard you say
Yes.
Samson.
No, you saw Samson 2 weeks ago. He's freaking phenomenal. I mean, if he brought what he looked like 2 weeks ago, I don't know where he was guest posing, but wherever that was enough to repeat. I just don't see
his physique is probably one of the better ones we've seen in a long time.
I don't think it's comparable right now. Where he's at right now, what I saw 2 weeks ago, Derek Lunsford didn't look like that in Pittsburgh, and I was sitting in the front row. Well, second row. Actually, the third row. Mannion put us over there. Me and Chris were complaining. But, yeah, I didn't see Derek beating Sampson the way he looked. And that was back in May. Now, Derek's probably a lot better now. They're all probably better. Mm-hmm. But the only thing that can happen with Sampson is what? Is get better. So I don't see Sampson losing that title to anybody coming on the stage based on where he's.
I've heard you say that Keon Pearson, you feel, could.
He's the next Mr. Olympia. He's the next Mr. Olympia.
And what I know he looks to you because he came on our podcast. He said that you're a big inspiration to him.
Yeah.
What do you tell him about the 212 this year?
I told him, go get that title. I mean, he's there.
You're saying that you said that you wouldn't, if you think he's so good, then why don't you push him to do the open class?
So he's already committed to doing the 212 after last year's. And that muscle maturity, we keep saying that comes with time. So if you show up too soon, you're going to be half baked. I was half baked in 1988 when I did the Mr. Olympia. He's not as young as I was. How old is he now?
30.
Yeah. So I was 23.
30.
Yeah.
Right.
But I was like 23. He's got a lot more volume than I have. His dimensions just look ridiculous. His waist to shoulder taper is ridiculous. But he had already committed to this year, which I had absolutely no complaints. But if he now allows himself to grow, and I know he said something about doing a pro show.
Prague. He's doing Prague.
Yeah.
Doing Prague, yeah.
And that's what we said about Bumstead. I felt Bumstead could win that. So if I think Bumstead could win that, I definitely believe Keon can, because I don't know that he has to win in
Bruce
Prague.
Is doing it, though.
I don't know. Listen, I don't know that he has to win in Prague. What I do know is that go and hold your own, fight that freaking fight, and then grow. And then let his body naturally just go. He has to make weight for the 212.
Yeah, but I don't know if he struggles to make.
I don't know.
I think he's just shy of 220 right now.
Yeah, that's where he needs to be.
Yeah.
So that's 8 pounds bigger than the 212. And if he has that much time until next October to put that on real time and keep the detail, he will be Derek Lunsford, Hadi Choopan. They did it.
I saw him.
He's got a better start than they do.
I saw him the other day, and I texted Jay afterwards. He will beat every guy 5'7" and under.
Yeah, there's
right now.
That's why he's the 212
right
champion.
now. And it does. And I'm talking. The only guys he's gonna have a problem with are the 6-footers. Well, it's just mass.
I still think that he's the next Mr. Olympia. I'm going on record. I mean, I think Sampson's going to win this year, but I think Keon is the next Mr. Olympia, barring any injury. I don't see that happening.
And what you're saying there, that's another thing that's happened, and we've talked about a little bit. Everyone who wins a title now says they're Mr. Olympia.
Yeah,
there's
bullshit.
one Mr. Olympia. It's Sampson. If you say you're Mr. Olympia, you're not Sampson. You're not only disrespecting him, you're disrespecting the Olympia and every guy that's earned it. And if you don't like it, go beat him.
That's why I have mad respect for Keon, because he doesn't think he's Mr. Olympia. He understands where he's at.
Yeah, but if you're being interviewed and they say you're Mr. Olympia, you're really going to correct someone?
You should.
No, I don't think so.
If you're the CFO and someone calls you a CEO, would you say I'm not the CEO?
Yeah, but I wouldn't. People call me Ronnie Coleman sometimes, and I don't.
Here, I'll say this. In an interview, I understand.
Right.
You might not.
But the athlete himself.
But if you go out of your way to put it on marketing,
I don't think that a lot of them do that, though.
But they almost all.
Who did that? Was it Kai Green that wrote? Somebody was.
Well, Mr.
No, I'll give you an example. Phil Heath did a podcast, and they called him a 7-time world champion. And Chris Bumstead did the same one, and they put 6-time Mr. Olympia.
Yeah, because that's the people's ignorance.
Perception.
Yeah.
But you could say, hey man. Phil, hey, I'm not a world champ. I'm
for a while after I won the nationals, I used to say I was Mr. America because I knew the rest of the world at large
knows what that is.
But instead of saying the national champion, it just didn't have the same ring as Mr. America. But then I realized, there is a Mr. America, and I'm not him. Yeah. So I as I matured into it, I stopped saying that. But it looked better on an autograph picture. It sounds better in an interview. But I don't want to see classic physique or or men's physique saying that they're Mr. Olympia. That's disrespectful. Yeah.
Well, they changed from 202 Showdown to now.
Yeah, you're still part of that. We talked about that. You created the 202 Showdown.
Yeah.
You did the first one. Was it in Colorado?
And again, that was out of necessity. And I'm the first one to say that we don't need 212. I think 212 after this year should go the way of the 8-track. Because these guys have caught up with our open competitors, and I think that they're back where we were. The division was created so that these guys didn't disappear. Now they get just as good with Hadi and Keon and Sean Clarita. These guys are all looking like they can do battle in the open division.
Think about it. The top 5 right now, 2 guys came from the 212, and if you bring in Bonac, 3,
and Clarita won.
A show.
We don't need the 212. I'm going out on a limb right now saying, if they got rid of the 212 this time next year, no one's going to miss it because these guys are just as good as some of the open bodybuilders. And the ones that aren't, if you can't cut the mustard, man, you shouldn't be there. Look, Flavio Boccanini was 4'8", 170 pounds, dripping wet. You know, he held his own to some of these guys.
Arnold cut it out of their categories a long time ago. Right?
Yeah,
I think they, if I remember right, I think they cut it out because they weren't getting the top. Flex was the champion. He wasn't doing it. And there was no one else that would draw, and they'd have like 7 guys signed.
Well, I'm going to go on record as a guy that helped start that division. It's obsolete. After
ran
this
its course.
year, we don't need it.
It ran its course.
And there's only like 3 guys that you're really even looking at. So I don't think that we need it in order to maintain the integrity
you know what?
of it.
I'm going to put Shawn on the spot. The same thing you did.
Yeah.
Okay, so Keon's name the top 5 people in the 212 right now.
Here we go.
He actually should know because he's a
They're 100%. I should know.
Yeah.
I got 3.
Okay, so give me Keon Pearson.
Sean Clarita.
Okay, 2.
Ahmad Ashkanani.
Yeah, but is he still doing it?
Yeah, he is. He competed last year.
Okay.
And then I'm done. Like I'm stuck with names. Again, this is why this division has gone the way of the 8-track.
But if you go to Classic, you could probably name the top 10. Go to Men's Physique, you know there's top 5, 6,
There's a
7.
kid from Turkey that's unbelievable. The fish on in 212.
I saw him. Yeah, I saw him. We don't know his name. That's the thing.
He's only like 21.
Yeah.
But
Yes.
No, he's 23.
again, there's really nowhere to promote that, right? Like if you don't know his name, you can't find him on social media. So we're running into a place where all of these divisions are being included, but once it's served its purpose, you don't need it. You really don't. Miss Olympia disappeared for how many years? It was gone.
Decade.
It was gone for a decade, and we survived. They brought it back. Andrea Shaw's won every single one. I think she's a 5-time Olympia winner, right? So this will be her 6th year. She just won the Rising Phoenix. I'm going on a limb. Andrea Shaw's going to win the 6th Olympia. I don't think there's anyone that's going to touch her unless Ronnie Coleman comes back.
I think she's the one that you would go into the Olympia. She's the one class where
you can
just
bet it all. We're in Vegas. You bet it all like Sid Gillen.
Because people could get upset in every other class.
Yeah, but not in the Miss Olympia. Andrea's not getting beat any
Like
time.
Classic going into this, there's 3 or 4 guys that could win.
Yeah.
Men's Physique, there's probably 5 guys that could win.
Can Derek Lunsford win the title back?
It won't be this year. And I think it won't be next year because I believe that Keon's going to arrive. So I think
Hypothetically, he can, but you don't think he will.
No, I don't think he will. And I don't think Hottie's going to win it either. Remember, these little guys, they peak early. Like once you peak, you're not Ronnie Coleman. Ronnie went a long time, right? I mean, and Sampson's a bigger. He's got more volume. Little guys like Hottie and Derek, and I'll put myself in that. We hit a plateau on what we can do with our frame. And it's over.
When there isn't a good
Keon is still younger than both of those guys.
And he can still add.
He's got time.
What were you about to say?
Can Nick Walker move up? He's been 3rd. He's been 4th.
He's not moving up over 3rd.
Was he 4th or 5th?
He definitely could be.
3rd.
I got him in the top 4 this year, but I know Bob Chick didn't want to hear that. But he has the potential to be in the top 4. But like I told Dallas McCarver, he didn't want to hear it. I said, be careful. Be careful what you wish for, because this is a show that will have you do things that you normally wouldn't do because you're so close. You can taste it. And some of the things that you might feel, you might think it's part of the process because I'm so hard, I'm so dry, I'm so close, and he lives here, so I don't have to travel. And if you feel anything, you need to take your foot off the gas. Like if there's anything different about your preparation, pay attention to the signs. You got to be careful. He is pushing the envelope.
I think Nick could win, but I think
The
stars have to align for him to win. Kind of like Sean Roden.
A lot has to go. A lot has to go wrong.
Yes, other guys. So he could if
And-
other guys mess up.
But
He nails.
that's not a dig at him.
No, it's not.
necessarily.
It's a structural
Listen,
thing.
Here's the thing. Styles make fights, right, in boxing. And in this competition, all the top 4, top 5 guys, and Andrew Jack is on the fringe on the top 5. You just never know with Andrew what he's going to show up. We saw this with Hunter Labrada. He came on, he got 4th place, and we're thinking, wow, he's just going to keep going up. We saw it with Nick when he got 3rd. Like he's going to come back, and he missed 2 Olympias?
Yeah.
This is his 3rd one.
Third, he'll come
He
back.
still has to make it to the Olympia stage. It's not a guarantee. I say that all the time, very loosely, because the things that have happened in the past can still happen. And we're 3 weeks away, 4 weeks away.
3.5, yeah.
This is when shit happens. People drop out. Your head starts playing games. I mentioned it earlier. Cedric McMillan pulled out of prejudging. Some guys don't even make it out of their hotel room. Logan Franklin didn't make it out of his hotel here in Vegas, Olympia weekend. So until he actually is on that stage, I'll be holding my breath for Nick. Now, if he winds up on the stage, it's going to be him and all the other styles because his style is different than everybody.
He's a freak.
Yeah. And he's arriving at the right time.
He's at the
maturing
end of the
right
day,
time.
he's going to be in the mix, and he's going to get a fair shot, and where he deserves the place is where he's going to play.
You were in Pittsburgh.
I was.
Do you think he should have won?
No.
Why?
Why?
The obvious, well, I think he lost the contest because of his stomach. I think everybody there thought he lost because nobody talked about anything else.
Is that in transitional spots?
It doesn't matter. The stomach is the focal point of the physique. So whether you're changing positions,
I know,
whether
but
you're in the
it
pose,
was literally like a splitting hair decision. So
I don't think it was as close as it was. You know why? We got out there in prejudging, and everybody was looking at Nick's stomach. When they got down to the final decision, everybody was still looking at Nick's stomach. It all came down to his midsection. It didn't come down to his arms. It didn't come down to his back poses. Everyone was talking about Nick is going to win this or lose this because of his stomach. And he lost because of his stomach. And that was from the beginning to the end.
But like what Jay was saying, was it the transitions if he lets it out?
Well,
because in the poses, he holds it in.
Yeah, but you know what? When you have an issue, you can't let it out ever.
Yeah,
you can't. You have to hide it.
But
and if you can't hide it, you're screwed.
I'm not going to say any names, but you watched guys do extremely well with big stomachs.
Yeah, but now we're talking generational. I mean, look, you're absolutely right. Dorian, even Ronnie in your era. But it was a different time and a different place. The Olympians changed hands 5 times in 5 years.
Are you surprised that the guts have gone down like they have?
Some.
We got a message on our, and you can see it on the Cutler Cast Instagram where people said they're rewarding the big guts. Well, let's just think about it like this. And I'm going, whoa. Think of the top 10. Does Samson have a gut? Does Martin? Does Derek? Does Hottie? Does Andrew? Does Raphael?
Does
Burton? Nobody has a gut anymore.
Why do you think the guts have disappeared from the?
I don't know. They keep telling me the guys are bigger. I don't think they're bigger. Even without a gut, I don't think they got more detail. They're not in better condition than back in the day. Look, when we start talking about the 90s, we got to include Nasser. We got to include Marcus Rule coming in right on the tail end. Jean-Pierre Fuchs. We had some 6-foot guys, some really big dudes. And when the stomachs started getting away, I think was obviously when Dorian came along, but Dorian was the catalyst to the turning a blind eye on what you can get away with your stomach. So now that we start to kind of see that in one bodybuilder, who's that one bodybuilder? If we're talking about the same guy, then that's the guy that you got to mark down, because we don't want to reward that because it's justifying that look. Penalize it, make that look go away, and make the athlete go back to the drawing board and fix it.
Phil Heath lost the Olympia because of his stomach.
100% he did, and I called that at prejudging. He was absolutely the best bodybuilder.
He killed it.
No, you go look at the play-by-play. I have him on the prejudging. I was commentating. I think it was me and Dan, and I said, Sean Roden at prejudging, and I believe Phil didn't talk to me for about a year. You go back and look at it. There's only one thing wrong with Phil, and that's the stomach, and that's why you lose. And I wish it had been that way in the 90s. It wasn't. So I see some of the correction.
Probably have a title.
Yeah, but some of the correction is necessary. If you see it, you got to mark it down and nip it in the bud. So if Nick Walker did not lose the Pittsburgh Pro Show because of his stomach, then tell me why he lost.
Do you think the judging's better than it was in your era?
Yeah, and I think that was
coming from you. That's a strong statement.
That was with the extraction of Wayne DeMilia, because Wayne DeMilia was everyone's problem, not just mine. He was.
Wait, didn't you have to sue him?
Control the judges. Yeah, I see.
He influenced the judges. He influenced them.
He did.
He was the vice president. He was running. Joe and Ben were too old. Wayne was running the damn show. Wayne thought it was his show.
Because we sit on this podcast and we critique shows, and if you really look at. Is there really a lot of controversy in the shows?
For the most part, I think they're great.
I mean, there might be. Listen, you said I should have been third, fourth. I'm kind of like, you know what? It doesn't really matter at that point. Maybe it did because of the prize money. I guess it's a big swing now.
Yeah,
that's what people rely on. Like you said, people rely on the prize money now more because it's higher and they don't have the outside money
and all that. Yeah,
and they're not selling 8x10s.
No, and they're not doing the business of bodybuilding.
If you were sitting at the Olympia this year at Meet the Olympians, do you sell 8x10s?
You can't.
Why?
I'll tell you why. Because if someone else is giving them away and I'm trying to sell mine, it's my ego. Shawn Ray's over there selling them, and here's Kevin Levrone giving his away for free. And look, Flex Wheeler's signing his for free. Some of these companies provide the athletes with the pictures. My company,
but the company's not there.
Yeah. So I'm there with one of my sponsors. They gave me a stack of pictures with my name on it.
Meet the Olympians where they have the
No, these athletes are not selling their pictures because people are showing up with their cell phones to take pictures. It should be an absolute certainty that this is a money-making thing for the athletes. You know why? The fans are paying for the meet and greet. It's into the ticket for the show, for the weekend, the experience. So you get the meet and greet, you get the post contest seminars, you get prejudging, the press conference. It's all one package. But the athlete is there for free. The athlete's there. How do I monetize this? I got to be with a company, or if I'm there by myself, can I sell pictures if they don't know who I am? I'm coming in from Romania. I won the Romania championship. Do I even speak English? So now I'm going to put my 8x10 down. I'm going to sit at my table and hope someone recognizes me. And they're going to walk by.
I used to set up a whole store.
Yeah. But you were doing the business of
before
bodybuilding.
social media.
And very few could actually do that. And the ones that could actually had staying power. But you win the Romania Pro Show, you set out your 8x10s and you're waiting for someone to come by.
So I've had an idea, and I know it's ignored, and I'm going to keep repeating it. Why do they have Meet the Olympians on Thursday when everyone's dehydrated, when people are going on stage the next day? Why the fuck, and I'm going to swear this time, don't they have it on Sunday at noon when the people have ate and they can sit there all day and they can sell stuff, they can spend time with fans? Because I remember when we used to go there with Phil and he could only be there for a certain amount of time and he had to leave. Yeah. The people have to leave. Why don't they do it after the show, when the athletes have had some food in them and they can spend, imagine if Chris Bumstead went there Sunday at noon. He could sit there for 10 hours and probably sell $100,000.
I think all of
that. Instead,
that.
he gets this small little bit.
Right.
They're standing there. They can barely stand. They're delirious because they're dehydrated. They're on diuretics. Why wouldn't they do it on Sunday?
I think there has to be a post-contest clinic. We have these clinics for the judges. The judges have these clinics. You can come in as an NPC athlete, get your instruction from the judges. They'll do posing clinics for you. There's no clinics for the Olympians, plural, where it's going to tell you how the Olympia is going to go. There's no whiteboard where they're getting feedback from the athletes. Hey guys, what did you like about the contest? What can we do differently? How can we help you? So here's the athletes. Here's the show. There's no interaction.
You know who does that?
So
the Arnold.
Well,
they get feedback.
I don't work for the Arnold. I do work for the Olympia. And the Olympia, I think, has to open the dialogue, and that has to happen because immediately following the show.
The Olympians? Did you have ever?
Oh yeah, we always did.
I'll give you an example. I obviously manage certain athletes. I don't let their sponsor schedule them before they do prejudging.
Sure, right.
So if you're prejudging Friday night, you're not doing any appearances Friday. It's not happening.
Yeah,
because you're there for one reason. To do your best on that stage. And you know this, if you're standing 5 hours before you get, before you get on stage, that can affect your legs.
It does.
So, but they have to do it Thursday night.
Yeah.
And some people are going on stage Friday morning at 10 a.m.
This is what they sign up for. That's why you got to be careful. This stage, the weekend is not like going over to Prague or Romania or Japan. You get to the Olympia and all this shit gets added and none of it's in your playbook.
I have another question I'm going to ask you because I've talked about it a lot. I think part of the reason why the guys don't nail it, the open guys, because they don't know what time they're going on. They don't. For the last, and I can tell horror stories of guys that have sat backstage for 4 or 5 hours and they're told different times they're going to go on. I believe you guys looked your best because you went on at high noon. You knew a year in advance what time you're going to be on. You had 1 or 2 meals in your system instead of 6 or 7 meals and you have nerves all day. Do you think the guys would look different if they went on at noon Saturday?
100%. Not to mention, the max I think we had was like 22 or 23 when I was in the 88 Olympia. But we always had under 20 guys that you're dealing with. Yeah. And mind you, we only had women and men. But the men, we were on in the afternoon and we were on at night. And I had dinner. I used to make reservations at the Tropicana after the Mr. Olympia at a teppanyaki style Japanese restaurant because I got out of there in a reasonable hour. Yep. Now we don't know what time we're starting. We don't know what time it's ending. And now we don't know how many athletes are going to be there. Everything is kind of a guessing game and you're moving all these pieces apart. This is dialogue that has to happen long before the show or immediately after the show that I'm not privy to. And so the questions are valid. They got to be asked of Jake Wood and Dan Solomon. And I think that a meeting of former athletes that have been there,
of course,
some of the current athletes that are there, along with some of the judges and some of the promoters, that meeting has to take place because that whiteboard, you need to go down and check all the boxes to get all the concerns. That doesn't happen.
I believe with anything, when you put the athletes first, everything else.
Well, the athletes have to be a part of the conversation.
They have to be a part.
They knew last
year. The athletes have to be part of the.
Well, they said 9 p.m., but they said it earlier that day.
But Jay, the athletes have to be a part of the conversation way before
Months
the
in
competition happens.
Or maybe after this Olympia
I mean,
next year.
I remember one year you were an ambassador for the Olympia here in Las Vegas, but have you ever sat in on an Olympia structured meeting that's talking about the timeline, the running time? That has to happen. And I've never been a part of it. Actually, I was a part of it one time, but it was more of an introduction when Jake first came on board.
Last question for you. What about the muscle camps?
I remember those.
No, the future muscle camps. Talk
Yeah,
about this.
so I got one in the works with the
Because I
gym.
used to participate in all, like we did.
Yeah,
I remember, yeah.
Their mini camps we did.
So we got some Panada gym equipment at the gym in El Cajon. The owner, George Jackson, he's part of the franchise. They're out there in Mesa, Arizona, Vista, San Diego, El Cajon, Chula Vista, out in Florida. I forget what it's called out in Florida, but we have one in Victorville, Apple Valley. They're kind of all over the place, Pacific Beach. But the one in El Cajon is going to expand. They have my gym equipment out there from Panada, and it's 18,000 square feet. They're going to add another 20. And when they do that, they're going to have a grand opening. We're going to try to bring back the muscle camp. We have like 5 pros. You come out there, you train at the different stations. We have food brought in, or we go somewhere to eat, and then we come back and have this big Q&A, and then we anchor it with a lot of swag giveaway. I think it's a really good educational process. I did one at Diamond Gym for John Kemper back in 2010 and 11, and a little skinny, scrawny guy that came in there, and they called him Shawn 2.0. Turned out to be Sean Clarita in 2010. I got the picture. It's crazy because who knew that he would wind up doing the things that he did? Now, John Kemper has gone on to the pearly gates with his wife, and God bless them because they started something in Diamond Gym, which had a lot of great athletes, Derek Whitsett, and now Dwayne McDaniels. He's the owner of that gym. He wants me to bring it back over there, but I did that with you once, I think, out here in Las Vegas.
Yeah, we did one in Miami also.
Miami, yeah. Miami, I did one out in Ireland. I did one in Chile. We took one out to South Africa where I brought Melvin Anthony out there and Richard Jones. We had some in San Diego and out in Norwalk. Hugely popular at the time. I kind of got away with it because family and all the other stuff. But I want to bring it back out in El Cajon at the gym because I got a really good relationship with the owner out there, George Jackson. And it'll be a great way to kick off the grand reopening of that gym. It's a great way to educate people too.
I'd still, I never went to any of the muscle camps, but I used to remember seeing them in the magazines afterwards.
Yeah.
You would have you and all the guys there and people.
Dude, I had Dennis James, I had Melvin Anthony, I had Chris Cormier, Flex Wheeler, Lee Priest, Adela Garcia.
Yeah.
We had everybody.
So let me ask you this. If the original muscle camps with David Zelon ran.
That's where I got it from.
Okay. Would those work today?
I think there might be enough interest if we're including the women's bikini and the men's physique, because those are the two divisions that are thirsty for this stuff and they're not killing themselves over it. The bodybuilders seem to think that they know everything. They have their coach and the coach doesn't want you talking to that guy. Don't talk to this guy. And they kind of like almost take over these bodybuilders' lives. And I think the bodybuilders give up too much to these coaches.
How many people would show up for the muscle camps that you ran out? And
you could 100 would be tops, right? I mean, it's better to have
because they paid
more
a good price, correct?
Back then it was like $250. Yeah. And I would give
would equate to what today?
Well, if I were to do it today, probably 500. I'd start at $500 if I did it, because we don't want 100 people. We want 50 people that want to learn.
And
right?
How many did you have a season?
Ooh, I did back in the day because I came out of bodybuilding when I was doing that. I used to have about three a year.
Okay,
I'd move them around.
And then, but I'm asking like the David Zelon one.
That's a different one because David, you'd come and you'd stay there for a week.
Correct.
Yeah, they would pay. I got paid as
how much
guest.
did you get paid?
Back then, I got $1,500 a day, and they would have a.
It was all day,
long,
right?
Yeah, I wouldn't be there for the whole week, but it'd be a week long.
Cycle people in.
Yeah, Loyola Marymount, you'd go and stay in the dormitory, and they'd rotate the pros coming.
So it was in the summertime then.
Yeah. George Jackson and Lynn Concrete used to be there, and Lee Haney came out and Labrada. I met a lot of my heroes.
Sorry, everybody.
I met all of those guys early in my career because they were happening in like 1987, 89.
And you coached during that thing?
Yeah, I'd show up and do my little, because I was a national champion. I was Mr. California. I was like right there behind Bob Paris.
And
you were a coach before the coach.
I was a
and
coach
how much
coach.
did they charge the people, and how many people showed up?
You know what? That was a good thing. I didn't know the logistics of that because they were including housing and food back then.
Yeah.
That's something I never did. Like mine's a one day in and out type thing. But yeah, it'd be totally different if it was like a weekend type thing. What that would look.
So you pulled in your Rolls Royce and you just.
Yeah, I was driving my Mercedes back then. I had the Porsche back then.
Okay.
But those were.
You got to get the Willie Mays Hayes Rolls Royce.
Yeah, well, here's the problem with doing those. Here's the problem with doing the muscle camps now is that the federation does them for free. So who benefits there, right? The federation's bringing in new people to re-up their NPC cards or their IFBB cards. So let's give them something free and teach them. But for the individual athlete, it's very hard to do. If they're giving it away for free.
I think you could do it different, because when I see them, usually it's like a judge that's putting it on.
Yeah.
But they're not someone in the trenches that you can talk off the record with about what you have to do.
Yeah.
I still think it could work.
I think it's if based on the personalities, right?
Of course.
I mean,
Certain
we
people
back in that with some of our sponsor swag and maybe a
Yeah.
free trip to the Arnold Classic type thing. But you got to ask yourself, I don't know how many bodybuilders are willing to actually learn. They all think they know everything. I've talked to them. The only time I get questioned by some bodybuilders are when I'm at the show, after their coaches got them all the way dialed in. Hey, my coach has me eating this. What do you think of this? Or should I drink this much water? I'm like, you're paying your coach. You want this information for free? Like, go to the Shawn Ray website, Build with Pros.
Anyone ever come to the muscle camp, Europe ones that I participated in that
When
now was like a top pro? You remember?
I don't remember anybody actually, besides Sean Clarita coming out of it. But I've had a lot of top pros helping me, Linda Murray and Sarah Hayes. And even, did Spari come to one of them? I'm not sure if Rich came to one. But I had everyone come. Milos.
Miami, Dan Solomon participated.
Yeah, I remember Dan.
He was like a guy.
He had pro muscle management back in the day. He was manager Matt before manager
Darren
Matt.
Charles did that one.
That was his guy, yeah.
You know, it's random. I was saying this, we were talking about this earlier. Sean was the first pro I met
I know you said that.
at the Red River Classic in Oklahoma
Is that crazy?
26 years ago.
I know. And then
I bet you I could find the picture.
What was the promoter's name?
Yeah, it was. I don't remember.
I remember I ran into you on an airplane and you had one of the
Super Bowl rings. My old
from Tampa Bay. Where were we? We were going to the Miami show?
I don't
or
remember where.
Florida?
Yeah,
You let me try that thing on.
I came to Orlando to there was a show you were emceeing. It was like a Kissimmee. It was like an expo. I think it was Europa, and you were.
Yeah.
And then we came there, and he had the Super Bowl ring. My old
and
business partner.
What year was that? I met you before Jay.
05? Oh yeah, no, I met you in 98.
That's
I
how
met Jay in 99.
So the majority of my industry, my friends, that's how it happens. Just random happenstance, and then 20 years go by.
And I used to be on ShawnRay.net fucking with people. He had the message board before social media. Yeah.
The majority of the majority of the people that still deal with me, because I'm an acquired taste. There's no question. I mean, I know Dexter Jackson wanted to rip my head off several times, and Craig Titus, but being an acquired taste, most of the people I hit or become friends with, it's a very random meeting by happenstance. And so Dan English, when I got my Lamborghini, 1994, I come downstairs to eat. It's Olympia weekend. I come downstairs to eat, and a guy was sitting there. I said, hey, can I sit? Anybody sitting in this chair? No, I was by myself. Went over, got my breakfast, sat down with this guy. We started talking. The next thing you know, he tells me he sells cars. He's the one. This is 94. I got second that year. Fast forward to 2000, that was the year I bought my Diablo. He's the one I got it from. But between 94 and 2000, he got me a Lotus Esprit, a BMW 525, a BMW 740, and a SL Mercedes. He sold me 5 cars. Every one I bought, I got out of him for what I got into him. We're friends to this day. That was in 1994. Just a random dude that was sitting there. Said, who'd you come to see? He said, I came to see you. I said, what? Yeah. Next thing I know, I'm up in my room and he's counting my reps while I'm posing. Because I was there with a girlfriend.
He still sells cars?
He still sells cars. Corporate motor cars.
Uh-oh.
Corporate motor cars in Arkansas.
I still
Little Rock,
you
Arkansas.
had that in one of the Mitsuru videos.
So you know,
corporate motor cars, Arkansas.
So his good friend was Don. I met Don Youngblood that way. He brought Don Youngblood to me in '97 to try to get with Wayne DeMilia because he won a Masters show. Yeah. He wanted to know what he has to do to compete in the Masters competition on Olympia.
Hey, Jay, you might have a new hookup here 30 years
later.
With selling cars.
Then this guy winds up beating Vince Taylor in the 2001 Masters Olympia. This is just a guy that's friends with a friend. That's how our industry, I'm sure you got friends like that you just randomly freaking met. You blink and they're around for 20 years.
Yeah, time goes by too fast.
Bodybuilding does that to us, man. I mean, it's a fraternity. That's why I think I never missed the Olympia, because even if I sat at home, I'd be thinking of all the people that I interact with during that time. I know you've missed a couple. But for me, it's I've got all these tentacles and all these other people that are kind of either running the show or working the show or coming to the show that I just show up for. And knock on wood, I've never been sick on Olympia weekend. My first one was in 1988. Never missed it. Never missed it since.
Well, we appreciate you coming on. I know you're out here for a very important
important Raiders game.
So you said I shouldn't put money on the Raiders today?
Today would be a good day, actually. I think they're going to be 2-0. Although I'm not
That
convinced
means
about the quarterback.
to bet against Shawn, you'll win.
I
I think we should bet right now.
I bet on the Chiefs last night because they were at
Oh yeah,
You know
they're
what's so
0-2. 0-2.
I'll be on.
I bet on Minnesota last night and they just choked.
He
missed that one.
He bets on all this stuff, and we'll be having a serious conversation. All of a sudden, you'll hear, "Fuck! They scored! I'm going to lose $100."
Keep focused.
And he's like screaming at the TV.
Well, I'm $100 on the Raiders. Are you down? You want to take that bet? I mean, the
I don't.
Chiefs are good.
That's between you
We're
two.
only one game in.
So how many are you going to see this year, you think, Raiders games at home?
I'll see the one the day after the Olympia, so I'm going to miss that seminar. I'll be at the Raiders and the Titans on that Sunday. Every time they play here, I got to catch that game, so I'll be at that one. And then I'm going to come back in the month of December. I think they play the Chargers again towards the end of the year.
Chargers beat the Chiefs last week, though. So
Yeah.
they're-
I know, but the Chiefs aren't the Chiefs right now. I think Kelsey's a little distracted.
Tom Brady's making an announcement tonight. What's it going to be?
The Raiders are going to be 2-0, and I'm going to get $100 off of somebody. I'm betting
That's
somebody.
what his announcement's going to be.
Yeah.
He's going to be there tonight.
Sean's
He's
going to
coming
win.
back.
He's coming back.
Yeah.
No, I don't think he's coming back. He's too old for that. He don't need that. He's paid in full. He's good.
Yeah, he's
It'd be like you trying to come back.
Yeah, no, right?
Hey, we joked about it, and he said, I'd come back for $1 million. Well, people reached out, and we could get the $1 million. He's like, okay, maybe I should have said
Yeah, didn't that happen to Layla Ali? Some girl's like, "I'll pay you 15." I wouldn't come back, but for 15 million, the girl goes, "I got the 15 million." She's like, "I have nothing to prove."
We're trying to get Phil to come back.
Yeah, we keep pressuring him.
Phil looks like he's still trying to come back. I'm not sure how old is he.
46.
Yeah, he's still young enough. I mean, look, it's an older guy's game. I mean, you have very few that are like Keon and Derek. How old's Derek? 32?
30.
Yeah.
30, 31.
But see, again, the dynamic changes as you age. He's a father now, right, Derek?
Yeah.
He's got a baby at home. Keon's got nothing going on. Keon he's focused. It's different.
Yeah.
You start getting sidetracked and
When we saw Phil in Germany, I never even posted those pictures. Like, he doesn't look like he's much away from
yeah.
a couple nice meals, and he could be right. He's still competitive with
Jay
these guys.
hung on for a while. You hung on for a good while after you stopped. Like you still look kind of diesel.
My waist is wider than my shoulders. That's not going to work. You know how it is. I'm gonna
Dude,
get old.
what was your heaviest
On stage, 273 the first year I won.
in your off season walking around?
300 pounds, 290.
That could have been comfortable.
You watched
though.
me guess post.
Did your arms go to sleep?
No, I actually felt pretty decent, actually. It didn't take me a lot to get there.
Yeah.
People think it, like our substance, like we cycled on and off then, which isn't.
Yeah, these guys
today.
are year round nowadays.
So I always credit that to my longevity in a sense where, I mean, my health markers are great now. I'm 225 today. So,
Well, that's right, man. I'm all about just trying to have functionality and flexibility and mobility, because when you see the other end of that, man, it should make you pause a little bit. Yeah. We saw Victor Martinez right now. He's battling some stuff too. Yeah. And Ronnie came back after he had a nice little, but he's back in the gym. He's in there doing dumbbell shrugs. I'm like, I don't even shrug with that kind of weight. Right out of the hospital, back into the frying pan. Yeah, I'm walking, I'm slowing down, and I'm absorbing everything around me. And again, this is a day and age where opinions really do affect the way people view you. I just blocked the guy the other day because he was telling me something about this Charlie Kirk guy, whatever his position was. I'm like, look, don't yell at me, right? I mean, I'm over here just sharing something that was on the internet. Block, delete. We're not talking over strangers. So when you're talking bodybuilding and critique, people have a hard time with critique, and I'm just not the guy that's going to give everybody a pat on the back. Like I'm going to argue tooth and nail that the finals of the Olympia should be the top 10 in each division. So I stand on that.
You know what? Just listening to what Shawn was saying, I've never heard it from that perspective, but that does make sense. If you want prejudging me long, no problem. But when it comes to the finals, only the top 10 should show up. Now you're not sitting there for 5 hours and 6 hours. You're not seeing a bunch of posing routines from somebody who has no chance in anything.
Yeah.
They're getting a participation medal.
Well,
It should just be, if you want prejudging me long, no problem.
Yeah.
But the final should just be the top 10.
I've always felt prejudging should be elimination. Cut and eliminate. That the athletes understand that. They know. And look, if I know I'm 25th or if I know I'm outside the top 10, I want permission to go and eat. I want permission to not have to go put the tan on. I want permission to enjoy the weekend. I mean, I don't think any athlete would be offended knowing after prejudging that they're not in the top 10. They're not going to get any money, and they're not going to even get a sniff, that they don't have to come back for the finals. That would
They'd
probably
wanna leave.
They'd want to leave. Yeah. You don't need them at that point. So,
well, we always appreciate your honesty. Take it to heart, whatever it is. But
See how many of us get canceled.
how many cancel? How many haters? How many followers? I don't give a shit about any of that crap, man. I like honesty and truth, and I'll stand on that. I'm at that age. You'll get there.
I know.
No, he's already
There, I'm there. I'm there. That's why we do this podcast.
I always joke with Jay and I say you're uncancelable.
Uncancelable.
They can't.
Well, I think there's more people out there that like the truth and honesty than they do like to be patted on the back. And
Usually the people that are upset with the truth is because it's their truth and they don't want to hear it.
yeah, man. Well, thank you guys for having me. Who's buying dinner?
Jay. Jay's got all the money.
All right. Bet on black, guys. All right.